Yo, 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 welcome to Crate 808 and the 808th Chamber, our live show for the patrons. We are live right now, and we are today... Yeah, Ray's got the props out. He's got a yo, and he's having another episode. Today's special because one, we've got a guest on board that hasn't been on yet, and we're talking about Tupac. So it's going to be huge. Rob Kuehl over there from the Next Movement podcast. How are you, my friend?
Yes. I'm doing all right. Doing good. Glad to be here. Glad to be here to talk about an artist I grew up with.
Boom. I think we can all say that. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, this is going to be quality. If people who don't know, I did feature on Rob's podcast. I think it's 2021, I think. End of year.
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Shout out to E, who hosts it with Rob. Do go check the podcast out. Big up E. We've also got Raymond Ridge from Perth. Ray, how are you, mate?
I'm good. It's 4 a.m., but I'm awake and raring to go.
Brilliant. Love that. I absolutely love that, mate. I was thinking what like kind of pun you're going to come in with. Usually you come with a pun, and this is Tupac. I thought, this would be big. This Ray's well into no pun. I'm surprised. Pick you up for the rest of the episode. Make sure you keep that energy. But right, so what we are doing, Tupac top 5 songs, and yeah, basically, I think we've made a rod for our own backs here, guys, because some people who are listening are probably definitely going to be left disappointed. But I think that's kind of the nature of the work of trying to like really narrow down. Hey,
Cam,
me.
I said got Cam.
Mm.
You know, I said I got coffee.
Mm.
I got the juice now.
For fuck's sake. Oh God, Rob, I'm so sorry. Rob does not Rob's entered this world thinking, yeah, these guys are pretty sophisticated.
You asked for a pun and you got one.
I do. Do you know what? You're right.
I wanted to wait till there's a few people on the chat first.
You held the joke. That you held the joke. People who this is really audio only, so people aren't going to get that. But he was holding a bit of juice, so he was holding a glass of juice. Explaining the joke makes it funnier, I find. So
it's for the video, the people on the video.
Yeah, that's for the people on the video. Yes, and yeah, welcome patrons. We have got Jack P. The stream is perfectly timed. I'm off to Wembley tomorrow, and my nerves are shot to hell. I'm guessing you're either a Man United or Newcastle fan. Newcastle United, whoever you are. I hope you do well for you, Jack P. Represent. You hold a Crate 808 flag up or something, or wear go and get some merch, please, and then wear it on like main on Sky Sports. That'd be amazing. We've also got Free Music Empire. Oh, what a ledge. Dano, if you haven't listened, he was on our last episode, top 5 episode, top 5 Biggie songs, and he brought the heat. So Dano's here, perfectly timed. Laundry just pivoted to the dryer. But I love the fact that we soundtrack these things for people. Oz, this is Cam, this is Ray, this is Rob. Welcome to the Next Crate 08 Chamber. Oh, I like what you did there, Oz, combining it. Yeah, okay, I like it. Nick Sheffield, evening. Rob is a soothing voice in this podcast community, says Dano.
So kind.
And it is really an actual smart, well-adjusted person. And we know Tupac can be confusing. I think it's confusing you've joined us then, Rob.
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to spread it around, as much as I can.
Yeah.
Try to be a positive influence. Shout out to Dano. Dano's been on our podcast as well, talking about Erykah Badu. We had a good time with him.
What a lovely community this is. I love this, how we all share the love. It's great. Oz, given that what's your phone number is a guaranteed top 5. It's the other 4 we're picking. Now, for regular listeners, they'll know that means. For people who haven't listened too much to the show, I think that's one of the most atrocious monstrosities of a song I've ever heard, and I have been brought up on that by a lot of people saying it's incredible. So thank you, Oz, for bringing the heat off the top rope, straight off the jump. Fair play to you. Ninja's Roses here, yo. Again, my top 5. Here's Dan again. My top 5 Tupac songs would be insane. Too much history for me. Yeah, I think that actually leads into what I was going to say. I don't know. I'll kick off with you, Rob. But I was going to say I think this is an episode that really is what I was made for if I was a 16-year-old, I'd have done this for 5 hours because I think Tupac was my first for want of a better word, rap hero I was besotted. Rob, tell me a bit about your criteria for your top 5, what your thoughts and history with Pac. How did it all start for you?
So as far as criteria, I tried to take the word favorite seriously and just really think about what are songs that have stuck with me that I've listened to a lot that sort of drawn to. But I will admit, I also thought a lot about songs that kind of encapsulate Pac and what he was about, songs that capture maybe important moments in his history or his story. So that's really, I think, all I really considered when it came to criteria. I tried not to think too much. There's so much material, so many songs. I tried to just go with instinct. So
love that.
We'll see how that goes.
Complete opposite to me then. Complete opposite to me. There we go. This will be good. This will be good. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Well, like you, I've listened to Tupac since I have listened to hip hop, and so it's been interesting to think about him so intentionally this week and think about his history. So I'm looking forward to talking about it.
That is very true. I think he's such a figure that's huge and kind of gargantuan, but it also has now, he's not become wallpaper, but he has just kind of become the furniture. And like, you don't think about your kitchen chair loads when you could sit on it, but when you really dwell on it, you think that's a really comfy chair. It is like Pac. I forget how much of my tastes he's informed, I suppose. But yeah, no, if I'm just before I go to Ray, my criteria is kind of the same. Although I was going favourites, but then I thought if I'm doing top 5, and as an additional thing, we are doing which Tupac song would you play to an alien to teach it hip hop, I was thinking my top 5. There's so many sides to Pac. Like, I find him quite multidimensional and confusing, and at the same time, but I kind of had my 5 to kind of reflect as many of those dimensions as possible, probably, which is probably an impossible task, but as well as my favourites. So I try to combine it a little bit. But as I said, I think that as people will be disappointed, I am not going to, personally for me, I have not bought any posthumous cuts at all, because I was like, apart from Don, the 7 Day Theory, Don Illuminati, because I was like, Pac was around for those to at least see them through the creative process as much more than his other ones where I don't know, I have no idea what Pac would have changed. And by that same thing, really, I think the thing is, I'm not sure, as he obviously passed away in all these years, he's like kind of Jimi Hendrix. You think, is Tupac what he was or what we wanted him to be? And I think this has also been a thing with his posthumous cuts where it's like the poetry, the repackaging of his music and more conscious side, as opposed to the gangster that he left us as, is always made me confused a little bit where I'm like, yeah, I don't know if that's us wanting it or him. So yeah, no posthumous cuts from me. Ray, what's your history criteria? Drop it.
Well, I kind of, if it was going to be actual favorites, I don't know, I guess I had to give it some thought because I'm just going to list off tracks off All Eyez on Me. That's going to be it, kind of thing. That's if it was favorites. And the thing is with it as well, there'd be a lot, like When We Ride, Picture Me Rolling, All Eyez on Me. It's fucking incredible tracks. I listen to them regularly to this day. But for criteria for top 5 Tupac tracks, I've decided to go with it has to be only Tupac. Maybe someone on the chorus, I'm all right with that, but like no outlaws. No outlaws.
No outlaws. Oh no, tragedy.
No, because that kind of made me, pay attention to like, look, this has got to be a Tupac track, and there's plenty. So, and I've also gone with. I don't know why. I don't know why I say this extra added criteria for myself, but it's to spread it across releases as well. So I've got one track from each, only one track from an album. And and so what you said about excluding all the posthumous releases, I've gone with, so I've taken advantage of the situation to actually listen to the because I'd never listened to the posthumous. So I was like, I agree that you can't be guaranteed that Tupac would have had any idea, any input on the tracks, but maybe he did. Maybe they have been put out the way that he recorded them. And like, there's a lot of tracks on the posthumous releases that were considered for original releases and the early releases and just weren't on them. So maybe I don't know. I didn't want to go to the nth degree doing research on an individual track. Like, oh, maybe this is put out. I was just like, if it's because. And I'm quite sure we're going to go into it, but the way Tupac raps as well, it's so evident he rapped it he heard the beat and wrote it to the beat and rapped it to the beat. You know, so many of his tunes you can hear that. Yeah. And that's shown in my choices, I think.
Love that. I love how you've really set a really narrow criteria, because sometimes in restriction you find freedom, don't you, I suppose? So it's quite nice that I'm going to be really looking forward to seeing how that goes. I mean, just a few bits on Pac before we dive into like the top. So, you know, I'll drop a few songs and we'll kick it off. But I was just going to look at, you know, you were saying earlier about assessing someone and just really dwelling on that music a bit more. I was just like, fuck me. I think he might be the biggest rap superstar. Like, I don't know. I know Biggie's huge. I know Jay-Z, Nas. I know they're huge. But I don't know. Like, I watched Atlanta this year. And spoiler alert, if people haven't watched the last seasons of Atlanta. But I don't know if anyone's seen Atlanta. But they even have Tupac in that. And you're like, he's such a mythic... like, he's unlike Jimi Hendrix. He's unlike, you know, all these people that passed away. Kurt Cobain. He's very unlike Kurt Cobain. And you're like, it's quite interesting how... he's just everywhere. So I found this vibe collection thing. Ray, you probably remember this. I had it in my room at uni. Ray will probably remember me as Tupac, like just awful Tupac fan when I first met you, wasn't it, Ray? I think.
No, yeah, a Tupac mentalist. Yeah, it was the posters and you know, yeah, and the It was always on. It was always on in uni. Or the approach of your room is like, okay, that's
Tupac's on. Yeah, no, but fair enough.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
yeah, no, fair enough. Because I think as well, like, you know, you think about him being a massive.
I feel
superstar.
like it informed your image a little bit as well. You really leaned into that bald head from early. You're like,
got the Thug Life tattoo and everything. Huh?
Do you know what, Ray and Rob? I actually think I was around 16 when I shaved my head. And this is when All Eyes on Me, the cover, was out. And as we know, he's a beguiling, beautiful man to look at. And I'm not saying I am gay, but what I am saying is when you see him, I was transfixed. He has a massive smile. His eyes are huge. Like when he laughed, it felt like, oh, Jesus, he's really laughing. Or to be fair, though, I think that translates into everything he is, which is kind of, I am so enthusiastic, but he was 100% heart, be it right, be it wrong. He was like, he bared his soul. I think it was a Greg Tate who called him the most tortured soul in hip hop history or something. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what he was. But by that same thing, he was all heart when he was loving something or when he was your mate. If he's your mate, he's ride or die. But then if you cross him, he's 100% that way. And I've never seen someone, and there has been cynics in, you know, hip hop commercial aspects, but I've never seen someone that invested in making their own legend. Like his origin story is ridiculous. Like Black Panthers, civil rights. I don't know any other hip hop star who's got an origin story all the way back to civil rights, which helped form hip hop. You know what I mean? So even from that to shooting at cops, off-duty cops, and surviving and like suing. I can't remember who he sued when he got beat up and stuff like that. And you're like, shit, man, this guy was so invested in it all the way to the end. But yeah, did you guys have any other points on Pac before we jump into other bits? The songs? I'll
just say I completely agree with you about the celebrity of Tupac. I mean, he dated Madonna for goodness sake.
Yeah.
It's just a rap superstar by all means. And like you're saying, so charismatic, you know, built for the camera. It's no wonder that he was on film and on screen. Yeah, completely agree with that.
Absolutely.
I will say, the feeling that you're describing, like the way he wears his heart on his sleeve or wore his heart on his sleeve, is certainly what drew me to him. I'll be honest, this might not be a popular take, but I've never really thought of him as a great lyricist. It's more like his style and his energy and the feeling that he brings that I think really drew people in.
I do have some points on rapping skills I was going to go into, so I'll wait for them. But Ray, did you have anything on what we were just talking about?
Yeah. It's just he's all passion, isn't he? And that's the thing with it as well, is that especially it's this long after his death that like a little part of it is like so there's early interviews with Tupac when he's I don't know, he's not gangster. He's a bit more, he's kind of thespian-y and he's art school-y and he's kind of like, hey, and he's just talking like he's not, I don't know, so street as well. And then that makes me think that he was playing a character a little bit. But then you look into it and it's like, was it real though? I don't know. And then, people talk about, oh God, he's so paranoid about people are out to get him and friends backstabbing him and, this, that, and the other. And then, are you paranoid if you are shot to death? I mean, you're shot up twice. I mean,
and the feds actually investigating you. They do have.
Then you're just traumatized. It's not paranoia at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not paranoia, is it? It's real. So yeah. I just I don't know, and I'm sure we'll go into it, but wow, so it's the subject matter of his track is so much. Well, it would. I don't know. Would you describe as paranoia? Yeah, exactly. All of that. Just talking about death and betrayal and it's just over and over and over again. Anyway.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That brings me on, because I was reading that Vibe thing and it is written at the time. So it's fascinating to see how we think of him then and how we think of him now. And it was Alan Light, editor of Vibe magazine, who wrote this. And I thought this was brilliant. This is exactly what you said. Is he playing an act? Is he not? He's so confusing, yet it fully informs the myth. It all feeds back into this myth of he means this to you, but this to me. He was done for sexual assault, but does that, if he wasn't guilty, does that make him innocent kind of thing? All these things have always been around him. And it said the overwhelming response made it clear that Tupac had come to embody all the contradictions and confusions that have grown up around hip hop. And I was like, yeah, it's not just him, is it? He kind of embodies that idea of hip hop, of people who don't know what hip hop is. I remember when I was a kid and and my dad having a go at me, calling him a rapist. And I got so unhappy about it. And I was like, he's not even done for rape, all this. And it was like, yeah, this is how people can view him. And it says he was a lightning rod, a screen onto which millions of people projected their feelings about rap, about race, about the young black man in America today. And I thought that is very well put. And Quincy Jones, really do check that out, because Quincy Jones has got a moment in there where he compares him to Oprah Winfrey, Malcolm X, all these people. He says when they were 25, we wouldn't have lost anyone. Malcolm was a hustler. Oprah was like on local TV. Tupac died at 25, and think how much he did in that time and the potential of how much he still could do. And I just thought I just want to touch on those bits just to really wrap up that moment for us. But okay, so let's do this. Let's dip in the chat, and then chat guys, whoever's in there, drop your top fives for us when I get to 5, if that's all good. But let's have a look what people are saying here. What's your phone? Yeah, the What's Your Phone was great. Absolutely love that. Free Music Empire. We need to ensure to get some Tupac clips now represented. Love that album. I do too. But as I said at the top of this, some people are going to leave here disappointed. So on my front. But Jack, I like this. I've just picked songs that I've listened to the most, which is completely valid, and I love that. When We Ride is a strong shout, but most of it isn't Tupac. So that's exactly what I think too. Ray Reid's rejecting Thug Life group work altogether, says Dano. True.
The whole album.
I love Thug Life though. I do love it. How Long Will It Be? Should definitely be a contender. It is for me, Oz. That's a little spoiler. I was a Tupac fan in the late 90s. I went to a Reading Uni open day wearing a backwards bandana. Oh my God. I thought I was cool. I doubt anyone else did. Now, if anyone knows Reading Uni.
I do now.
Like Oz, Asian lad, backwards bandana, please send us pics. I won't share them on socials, but I just want to know how that looks. I rate you for that, because I think if I'd got half a chance, I'd have done that. Need a pic of that, Oz, says Nick Sheffield. There we go, exactly. Paranoia is just reality on a finer scale. Strange Days, the movie, says Dano. Great reference. Deep pull there. Oz, sadly, Nick, I don't have one that exists. Oh no, heart's broken. I would definitely make it available for the patrons if I did. Oh, bless you. He would have done it. But I'm kind of glad you didn't as well a little bit. Now it's left to our own devices. Okay, then. So let's start this then. Let's kick this off. Hold on. So in typical Cam fashion, and this is just because I have a Tupac playlist anyway. I've got 37 songs, but I've ranked my top 37. But I'm going to start. I know, ridiculous, isn't it?
Oh,
but I'm going to
Jesus
start at let's say 12. Let's say 12, 13. I'll start there, and we'll run through these, and let's see if they're in your fives. Some of these, right? I'm really interested to see Rob's. I have to say, I'm very eager for this.
Should we talk about Hit 'Em Up from the outset? Because it's probably not in the 5, but it's big. Shouldn't we? Or is that too much of a spoiler?
It is in this list.
It is. Oh, sorry.
It's in this list. Yeah. I'd like to know what top 13, 12 songs. I think Hit 'Em Up's got to be in there, mate. Come on, man. But we'll get there. We will get there. But that's a very odd thinking there, Ray. I don't know. But yeah, okay. So let's start. Okay. So I suppose let's just quickly start with number 13. At number 13, I have got Krazy with a K from the Don Illuminati, the 7 Days Theory. A bit of an off cut, a bit of a deep cut. Not a lot of people talk about it, but I just want to mention it here quickly about something I really like about Pac. Does anybody have Krazy in their 5?
No.
Nope.
No. Does anyone have any thoughts about Krazy before I dip in? Have you heard it recently, or was it ever on your rotation?
I'm having trouble bringing it to mind.
Smoking all time, doing up, down, got everything crazy, but crazy. That his elongated way of rhyming, I love that, and he kind of does it really well on that. And it already has started as a lead balloon because no one is here for Krazy, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. So people in the chat, if anyone likes Krazy,
Krazy is one of the. It's a slow beat. It's a slow rapping 2-pack.
Yeah,
and I guess. Maybe I should have added that to my criteria. Well, it wasn't actually one of my criteria, but slow rapping 2-pack, or like pitched down. It's kind of pitched down recordings, isn't it? That was this kind of thing that he started from. He did it even on, was it a 2-pack just now?
It was Soldier Story. He did that.
Yeah. So I mean, but anyway, that's none of my top 5.
Okay, right. Well, that's fine. That's all good. I like that because I think it adds to it emphasizes the kind of emotion of it. And we've talked about 2-pack and emotion. And I mean, come on, talk about 2-pack and emotion. And you think about, basically, I don't think I've ever had someone who, first of all, he sees death as a real concrete thing. We see death as something that's on the horizon or something. No, for him, it was immediate, and it shows in all his lyrics, as we've said before, fear, death, coming back, do not bring me back here, reincarnated, that kind of thing, which unfortunately we've gone and done with all of his music. But but there you go. But I was going to say, the emotions he has in his arts generally, I think that is a key signpost of, for want of a better word, emo rap. Like the way of bringing, like, you wouldn't have Drake today if it wasn't for like people really bearing their emotions on stuff like Dear Mama, Hold Your Head, that kind of thing. I would say Krazy is in there for me because it comes in the context of when he was not rising above the bullshit. He was not. It's even on Don Illuminati, he's not rising above it, is he? He's full on still invested in that kind of war. And Krazy always stood out to me because I thought it hits harder now, knowing you were going through all that shit, yet you still took time with this amazing woozy guitar production. I was like, I've always loved the production anyway. It's slowed down, and he almost sounds weary on it, like he's really just weary about it. And just is that the reason, or is it because he for some reason recorded this album in like a week or a day? Well, he was just tired.
Why are you setting such a ridiculous, why is he setting that criteria? Because he
knew he was going to die. But no, you're right, maybe he was just fatigued, and but then, hey, brilliant, I love it even more. Then I could read that into it. But yeah, my ghetto instrumental is detrimental to kids, but I see the misery in which they live. Fucking hell, man. Yeah, like that's as good as the 2-pack that I used to listen to back in the day. And that kind of gangster rap with a undercurrent of conscious. I kind of love Pat for that. Any points on those before I jump into the next one? No? Okay. Next. Here we go then. Right. This is moving along at a good pace already. Number 12, Ambitionz as a rider. Has anybody got Ambitionz in their 5? Or thoughts?
I do not, but I do like that song. What a great way to open an album. Strong opening track.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And not just your album though, Rob, your new persona. Like,
yeah.
a
new chapter in your life, all that. Yeah.
It's like a theme song to who he was, like Become after Jail. And you're like, wow, this is completely...
But just the beat as well is kind of sinister as well. It's nice. It's not the best. When you're thinking of the best track off the album, it's not the best track. I mean, it's a strong track, but it's not the best track on the album.
But it's not only the best track though, kid, but it has got one of my favourite lines I've ever liked, where he was like, my attitude is fuck it, because motherfuckers love it. I remember that. That just, you know, he knows how much people love it when he goes off grid. And he's like, so I love how he is just so honest about these things as well. Where you're like, gee, do you not want to change? Nah, mate, this is the way I am. So yeah, it might not be the best song, but Dayz kills it on that beat. Oof. Yeah. Yeah, Dayz Dillinger all over that. Have I got any other bits on Ambitionz as a Ridah? What have I got here? Two more lines I love, but I'm back reincarnated, incarcerated. Exactly. This is, so he's back reincarnated. That's really hits me now as well. Like, he is different. He is come back. I'm reincarnated and all that. And what's he say here? Lace them with lyrics like legendary, musical mercenary. And the way he brings that, and that's exactly what he was. He was Suge Knight's musical mercenary at that time. And I think he kind of knew it. He's just amazing. Just infectious song. I absolutely love it. And embodies a lot of I'm glad we made it half an hour without saying duality. And we got here. Usually people unpack duality is a key, is a hot buzzword. So we've brought it up now though. So there you go. So as bad as everyone else. But yeah. So should we go to the chat quickly? Anything? Let's have a look. What we got here? Paranoias, yeah, I like that. Nick Sheffield, very disappointed, mate. I once went to a uni night out dressed as a rapper, including a Nelly plaster. I think we've stumbled onto a Rob and Ray, have you ever dressed up as rappers on?
Hell no. No.
No. Rob's
that's dangerous ground for a white dude. I'm not going to do that.
So, this is England. So remember, over here, there's a detachment already of they're already American and huge. Oh, now I can. Yeah, we're just dressing in costume. It's like going like the Ultimate Warrior to an open date, which would be even more ridiculous. But yeah, let's have a look. But yeah, Nick, if you, please find that photo. Jack P, Krazy is on my shortlist. Oh, yes. Along with Troublesome 96, Straight Ballin'. Oh my God, I love Straight Ballin'. And To Live and Die in LA, very good. Troublesome 96, I love that song. Did not get into my top 13 though. Dano, Krazy is one of the strongest vibe songs from Tupac. It's a sluggish, meandering introspection. I love this guy. Dano's great, isn't he?
The vocab on that guy, he's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. Freeman's Game by Hail Mary being my pick for number one Tupac vibe song. Love that.
It's just Nick's last comment.
Yes.
Okay. Let's hold it then. Ninja Road just got back from home work. Hope you guys are all good. I'll drop a top 5, but be honest, I'm the risk of getting banished. I'm not really a Pac fan. Get out. Get out of the room. If you're not a Pac fan, Ninja Rose, get out of it. No, stay. But Free Music Game by Ambitionz is a better beat than a song. Valid, but I love his rhyming on that. We'll talk about his rhyming in a minute. Nick Sheffield to confirm I didn't blackface. Thank God, Nick. Yeah, Jesus Christ, that would have been...
Important note.
Yeah. Important note, Nick. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Love that. Okay, so what have we done here? Ambitionz, Krazy. Another one that I don't think is going to get in anyone's head if Krazy wasn't. One of my favourite, the prophecy coming to life is Blasphemy. Again, from the 7 Day Theory. Unsure if you guys remember it, but Blasphemy is, I think, very veering on the, razor's edge of I'm Jesus now, which is really dangerous ground to be. Any artist like Michael Jackson or someone like that to be claiming to be holier than anyone else. But then he does tie it into church and corruption, and he's taking aims at his really lofty ideas of, religion. He always does, but now he's taking aim at them and he's pointing his kind of sight to those. And even the way that audio's skewed as the sermon comes in, I love that.
He's on the cover of the album.
Yeah,
Nailed
true.
to the cross.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Let's not forget.
Yeah, true. He was very religious he was religious anyway, but I mean, he was very religious at the end I'm not sure if you knew that was like his end album, but I don't know, just it really is permeated through the whole album. And I'm a non-religious person, but I have grown up in religion, and it really is like, geez, when you have that as your finite point, it's pretty amazing how you can act. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, he's what the fuck? He's got some great lines on there. I love that. But yeah, any shouts on Blasphemy? Do you guys like it? Not like it?
No.
What?
I'm a little anxious. I'm a little anxious to get to the obvious 5 now. But anyway, it's fine.
Don't worry, we'll whiz through them. But Rob, did you have any?
I just Blasphemy always struck me as like, how much more controversial can you get? Okay, I'll tackle Jesus and religion, and name a track Blasphemy and start comparing myself to the Son of God. That's always how it struck me.
True. No, I can see that, and it's in the title. But yeah, no, fair. That's absolutely fair. I just think it did really hit home as a kid who was like rebelling and like being like, yeah, anti-religion and all that. It just was another feather in the cap of that as well when you were a kid, and seeing him do that was pretty amazing. But yeah, no, that Malcolm X energy very much in this album, as we've talked about. I did want to say then, we talked about Ambitionz there quickly. Sorry, I just want to go back to that because the rhyming we talked about. This is the 2 different types as well. Blasphemy is very different to the way he rhymes on Ambitionz. And I thought, yes, in a technical sense, he isn't the best rapper. Absolutely. I can see the technical sense. But the way he elongates his vowels and raps from the gut that land as hard today as they used to back in the day to me. They still, the way you can feel it. You can feel when he's in the booth doing that. And his strengths are emotion. You're right, Ray. And I think also though, the messaging and conflicted nature of world of hip hop. So he's beguiling because you think about, yes, he's a gangster, but he's also a very conscious rapper. And I think that always sticks with me. And I was wondering if he made your top 5s really, but was there any other points on his actual rapping before I move into the next song that you guys want to talk on?
He's not in my top 5.
He's not in your top 5.
Not ever in my top 5.
Was he not
10,
as a kid?
Frankly.
Was he in your top 5?
Nah.
Oh, interesting. Rob?
I think if I'm honest, he wouldn't have been in mine either. I might have been tempted just to please the masses to put him in there, but yeah, I wouldn't say he was in my top 5 either. He does have a way of like, I'm picking up what you're saying about his flow. He had a way of hitting the pocket that always felt right. I don't know that I would describe him as necessarily dynamic, though. Very, very similar approach, I think, to a lot of his songs.
But then I don't know, listen to If I Die Tonight, and then if you listen to like, what's that one off? Fuck me, Something Wicked. I don't know if you've heard Something Wicked from Tupacalypse Now, but the way he's that's different, Pac. No one can hear.
That's true. Yeah, that's different.
Yeah. And
he's sort of like double timing it on that song.
Yeah. And I do find those moments in his rhyming, absolutely. But I do see the general overflow being kind of, it is the same, but it is like, I don't know, we'll go into some of the other tracks about it. But yeah, I don't know. We'll get into this. But yeah.
Nothing off Tupacalypse Now is worth a mention. It's too early. He's new. I think he's still finding himself, still working out who he's going to be, still working out what he's going to do lyrically. That's why there's some more experimental stuff, but it's not, you don't listen to All Eyes on Me and then think, oh, I'll put something from Tupacalypse Now in my top 5. No, sorry. Even with the criteria of 1 per album, it still doesn't get in.
This is going to get interesting.
Yeah, I already know where Rob's going with this. This is interesting. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I love Tupacalypse Now. I had as a kid. I always loved it. But again, it's got the nostalgia thing, hasn't it, to it? So you love it because you listened to it as a kid. But yeah, no. I mean, Ambitionz, some of his best rhyming. I think there is some really good rhyming on that. Raw, absolutely, but I really like it. Strictly, he is on a level on Strictly that I love, by the way. So we'll get into this. But number 10 then, we're going back to Johnny J's All Eyes on Me cut, All Eyes on Me, the title track. There we go. All Eyes on Me. Like, I know that beat is, Nas used it same year. I know that. And I know Street Teams is incredible. It is. This was something entirely different and definitely more inspiring. Definitely. The beat is ridiculous on that. And I remember dissecting that song, Only God Can Judge Me, this, and another one for my A-level English. And no one had done that in my school. And I remember just thinking All Eyez on Me is incredible rhyming as a kid. And I still love it, absolutely love it. And just one of the best songs to rap along to. I love the rapping, and I love rapping along to it. So, yeah, and that's why I analysed it as a sixth former. Guys, All Eyez on Me, does it make anyone's lists?
Didn't make mine.
Oh, I'm looking for... Right, 10. This vibes are going to be interesting. Ray?
Close, very close, very close.
Talk on it.
Same as, Ambitionz as a Ridah is a great track. There's so many incredible tracks on All Eyez on Me, and the title track being one of them. But it's not just Tupac, is it? So
yeah. So you got
to be strict about your criteria. So
I do get that. A fair play to Big Psych though. So many features hurt songs on the album. Although I love the album, Big Psych is an exception. He is. Yeah. Spice One's an exception on the album, and Big Psych, man. Like, so much trouble in the world, can feel your pain. The way he's even just rhyming it is so like, but then you talk about rhyming, pack on that, mate. Jesus, the future's in my eyes because I want cash things, 5 double O bands in the flesh. That's almost Biggie. The way he rhymes, it almost sounds like Biggie, where I was like, yeah, you don't want to make that comparison, obviously, the obvious comparison. But like even the game shopper than the motherfucking razor blade, like he'll break his words up to go on the beat like that. And like Ray said, he's definitely been in the booth to hear the beat and then gone, yep, bang, 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 I'll write it just to this. But I think there's insight on there. I think there's insight on that song as well. So yeah, I think All Eyez on Me was, his MO at that point. He was a superstar. All eyes were on him, and he kind of just reveled in it. Absolutely reveled in that attention, and loved that myth making, man. So let's see what else we got here in the chat. Steve Piper.
Morning, Steve.
Good evening. Good evening. I have to get back from work, and also
morning.
I'm not a Pac fan. Pop in to see what's good. Right, okay, it's interesting. I own a 2-pack Fila tracksuit, says Dano. I think the chat is better than our chat. I think this is great. This is incredible. We need media. We need media of all these things, please. That's incredible. Jack P, amazing. It truly is. Nick, from the 90s or recent, and he says recent. Wow. Wear my Crate 808 shirt and 2-pack track pants. That is amazing. My heart is full.
It's a look.
Yeah. Jack P, All Eyez on Me is my number 4. I rinsed it when I was younger. Jack P and me. There we go. Jack, please break down on why a bit more in the chat, and we'll get back to it. But I'm glad it's in someone's 5. It's repped somewhere. Okay, number 9.
It's not even in your 5. What are you talking about? Anyway, carry on.
I said I'm glad it's in someone's 5. That's all. Not in mine. You're not getting mine. I love it, but my 5 is strong. 9. Number 9.
We'll see.
But yeah, exactly. Number 9. Not going to be in Ray's because Ray's already discounted Thug Life Volume 1. But I can't because Pour Out a Little Liquor's on there. Now, Pour Out a Little Liquor. Rob, Ray, do you have any shouts on, again, Johnny J bringing it? Any shouts on that song? Is it in your 5?
It's not in my 5, but I wasn't fully aware of Johnny J before this, doing research for this. And oh my God, he's produced. Why is he not bigger? I mean, obviously, I know he committed suicide in jail, which is very sad. But before that, he's made some incredible beats. Anyway.
No, absolutely, no, you're right. And Pour Out a Little Look is exactly that same thing. Rob, did you have any points on Thug Life Volume 1 or yeah?
That song's not in my top 5, but it is a favorite song of mine. I do really like that song. Part of it's nostalgia, remembering it from Above the Rim soundtrack, and really getting into it through that. But yeah, I love that song.
I think there's obviously moments in Pac's catalog of like just true brotherhood, and we've got Rain Ghost for that. We've got we've got numerous artists who've gone out there and done really brotherly love songs. But Pour Out a Little Liquor for me, maybe it is because the way Pac is rhyming it, but that ghetto tale is, I don't know, but just makes the morning more kind of like, you know, even more heavy, if you know what I mean, because it's his lyrical delivery on the song, and his rhyming is amazing on that, and I love it. And I loved rapping along to it as a kid. Remarkably honest. I couldn't fuck with the school life. I was a fool. I paid this motherfucker for a tool, man. He even called himself a fool. He knows, you know, that kind of thing. And but yeah, again, lyrics just are really hard to settle with now, though, when you listen to like fucking the way he's talking about letting his mate get with a girl, and now he does her and I do, and you're like, right, you know, that sits uncomfortably now after all these years. But, you know, and then you got the Spice One vocal sample in the middle, which I always loved. And yeah, just that despair, but also like kind of homage to, again, it just the idea of pouring out liquor over here was an exotic. I'd never seen that. I think I saw it in Boys in the Hood, but I didn't really grasp the power of that kind of just thing to do. And Pac was the one who taught me, if you know what I mean, to like do that. And also, you know, what leads you to do that when he's like, I got a back against a brick wall, trapped in a circle, you know, boxing till his knuckles turn purple. You're like, fuck, like this guy, he's fighting for like every day of his life. And although you have Eazy-E, although you have, you know, Cube and all that, I do think like Pac just did all of it though. You know, he wasn't just the lyrical delivery, he lived it. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, on a shout out, by the way, he said Ice Cube, there is a song out there, Last Words, from Strictly, where people forget we got Pac, Cube, and Ice-T all firing.
Maybe they're most controversial, all three of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Rob, speak on it. What did you do? I don't know. You rate that song?
I haven't ranked that song. But yeah, I listened to it this week and was kind of reflecting on just the period in history that where all three of them were in their career. You know, Pac is coming off this controversy with Dan Quayle and his music being people trying to censor his music, and Ice-T's getting heat about killing cops on record, and Cube is left NWA, and he's like in his very aggressive gangster phase. It's just an interesting period in history, interesting like time capsule, I feel like.
Yeah, no, it really is. And
it's also,
sorry, go on.
Yeah, it's also great in terms of thinking about it in terms of Tupac and his ego in the room with Cube and Ice-T, is because he doesn't come up first, he's third. He's like, and I'd like to see how that discussion went, because, you know, Pac later on is like, I'm first all the time. You're not even on my level. You can go let these guys go now. You know, I'm on a track with Inspector Deck. You know what? It's too long.
I knew Inspector Deck hurt you. Inspector Deck really hurt you.
It does. Because that's still to this day. I can't picture how that studio session was. But yeah, with this track, he's on third, and maybe that's partly part of. And you know, there's what's that tune? Old School, where you
love
can
that song.
When he's you know, talking about how much he loves hip hop. That's why it's a unique little thing. And I think, you know, that track would have been, you know, a little part of him paying homage to, you know, Ice Cube and Ice-T. Of course, you're going first. You know,
very.
Which is, you know, balancing the Tupac's ego as like, you know,
and where he was at that time. Absolutely, he was the new school at that point. He was so young. He was like, you know, these guys. Although it was only a matter of years, really, a few years, but it is in hip hop. That's huge in 90s hip hop. Like, you know, that's your statesman, elder statesman. So yeah, you're absolutely right, Ray. Good point, man. Yeah, sorry, we veered off into that song, but it does deserve a bit of shine. But here we go then. Number 8. Okay then, right? Number 8. Now, as a kid, this was top 5 for me. As a kid, I'd never seen him tap into his Black Panther militant side as much as this song. It is off Strictly. It is Holler If You Hear Me. Now, unsure what you think of Holler If You Hear Me, but my thoughts are that is probably his best protest song. And he had elements of protest, and again, adds to that beguiling nature of him. He's got the tattoos. You can't help but study them, you know, kind of thing. You're like, what's his lineage? Like, what's Thug Life and the Black Panther and Nefertiti and all these things would just make patchwork, adding more and more to his identity that I was beguiled with as a kid. And then this song comes in, and it kind of almost stumbles forward in this march. It's like just cascade of lyrics. It's not even like he just wants to get shit out there. And you think it is around the riots in LA at that point, Rodney King, all that stuff. It's all in the context of that era. It makes it even more powerful. And when he's like, pump your fists if you hear me, holler if you hear me, pump, pump if you're pissed. When he comes in, I actually love that. When he's like, pump, pump if you're pissed. And just that whole, it is like a Bob Dylan moment there, but you're like, shit, this guy is ferocious, and folk music and all that kind of protest that I was kind of getting into. It was like, yeah, there is like these elements of people actually protesting this shit that goes on. It's completely different musically, but the ethos of, the activist side of Pac for everyone to see, and his utter commitment to the cause of black liberation in America kind of thing. It's just electric. I love this song. I think it's such an urgent song, and just the opening track as well. Opening track on your album, just a bang, bombastic shit straight in your ear. Rob, Ray, any thoughts on Holler if you hear me? Is it in your fives?
It's
not in my five.
No,
no,
not anywhere near.
Oh, not anywhere near. After all that, not even tried to. Oh, okay. Any thoughts on it at all? Do you guys like the beat? It's quite bomb squaddy.
I barely remember it, frankly.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to think about or listen to Strictly today, knowing the context of that album, and not hear virtually every song as a response to Dan Kuehl and people who criticized his lyrics. And not to doubt the sincerity of the other things he's talking about on Holler If You Hear Me, but it also feels like a clear rallying cry. If you support me as an artist, also come along with me, join me.
Yeah, that's a good point. Very good point. Allegiance, getting people. Yeah, I do see that as well. But I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just things like, I love it when they fear me. I remember as a kid thinking, oh shit, yeah, the tables have been, and you're young, so you're learning, aren't you, as a 15-year-old? And I hadn't really thought about the idea of black people being feared, but also living in fear, and him loving it. I love it when they fear me, and the stereotypes you've built around me to build me as a black male. And I just remember as a kid, getting into Malcolm X, Spike Lee, all these things I was just really invested in, just reading and learning. And this track kind of did that for me. And he keeps it balanced as well. It's not like he says, some days we can have peace, G, but right now I've got a mindset up, looking down the barrel of my 9 get up. And even that is someday, maybe we will have peace, but right now what we need is this. And that's the Black Panther energy. That's the origin story I'm talking about, where when it comes into music, where you're like, shit, I don't know if I'm the only one, but I can't think of many rappers who got that lineage all the way back to the civil rights movement, and and then embodies it in his work as well. He's not like he's rapping about cash straight away. He does that later, but which is ironic actually, because if you think he really went commercial when he went gangster, and when he was political and stuff, he was commercial, but he weren't it's when after Me Against the World, he started getting really big, and you were like, he's getting more thug, he's getting more gangster. This is the evolution. But yeah, no, okay. So that's my conscious rap right there for you. Let's go into the chat then before we move to the next one. Let's have a look.
Yeah, it's interesting. Actually thinking about it as well. Maybe that's part of the reason. I don't know. Maybe I'm guilty of loving the gangster shit and not paying attention to the political stuff. It's not interested.
You wouldn't be alone though, would you? You wouldn't be alone.
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel bad about it. It's amazing music. It's fine. But I just don't rate Strictly. Again, I've got no tracks from Strictly. Spoiler.
Wow. There you go. That's fair enough. Fair enough. But I suppose it does say a lot. Look, we're getting it from record companies, publishing, and intelligent rap was pushed to the sidelines. We had to dig for a bit of that. I mean, by 99, a bit different. Raucous is about, you're getting a bit more of that. Over here, I'm talking about just it's quite easy to get a bit hold of that. It's quite hard to get hold of, some really conscious stuff, apart from Tribe and De La Soul. But that was conscious, but it was also it's completely different. But the fact is, Pat was doing it with gangster. Pat was, even on the last albums, yes, he is talking about 90% of it is paranoia, death, murder. But there is a few tracks like I Ain't Mad at Ya, stuff like that, where you're like, oh no, he does he is reflective as well, even on those things. And either way, that's my number 8. Holler If You Hear Me. Whew, number 7 then. I'll be interested now. Now we're cooking, right? Number 7. Keep Your Head Up. I'm just going to leave it there, and I'm going to see if anybody's got any. Ray's not biting because he already knows he's not got anything from Strictly, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on Keep Your Head Up. And Rob, is it in your 5?
It's my number 2.
Oh! Bang. Now, please break it down.
This was the first song I ever heard from Pac. I completely missed his first album, but in my defense, I was only 10 years old at the time, so I'm not sure how I would have heard it anyway. But I think people who know Pac's later music sometimes hear "Keep Your Head Up" and like to criticize him as somehow being like hypocritical. But I also don't think it should have surprised anyone that the guy who made Brenda's Got a Baby also made "Keep Your Head Up." And beyond that, like he's human. He's complex. He's complicated like the rest of us. He can respect women while also desiring them, which is how I get around on this album as well. And Keep Your Head Up is just such a soulful song. And so relevant. You know, it was recorded in 92, immediately relevant in the wake of the Latasha Harling's murder and the LA riots, and just such a vivid portrait of Black poverty, of the challenges facing many Black Americans. And to me, it's like the pinnacle of his socially conscious side. And the last thing I'll say is it's also how I was introduced to the 5 stair steps. And Ooh Child, this is just a fucking fantastic song.
That sample is one of the best, one of the most iconic. I don't know if iconic's the right way. I think it probably is though. I hear Keep Your Head Up still. I do hear it all the time, like it is on. I'm like, yeah, God, they really do. But that sample is a large part of it, I feel. I mean, that's not degrading his lyrics. Lyrics are incredible, but yeah, like that sample's amazing. But yeah, Ray, do you have any points on Keep Your Head Up?
I guess I just don't like it because it's slow Pac, and it's not even, it's almost not even rhyming, because it's like how we I live we're
he's almost talking.
It's kind of the talk, and you know, I don't know, there's the tracks that we're going to go into in our top 5 there's obvious reasons why that's, you know, I guess it supersedes it. I mean, you know, again, it's, you know, borderline an iconic tune, and it's the thing is, it's when there's so much of Pac's music that's about death and dying and paranoia. It's so refreshing. It's nice that there is a, you know, an optimistic Tupac that has that, you know, keep your head up. It's like, oh, there is another side to you that's, you know, I don't know, that kind of the juxtaposition of the track with the rest of his entire library of music, which is, you know, not got a great outlook on life. That says something about it.
Yeah, no,
but
fair.
It's not in my 5, so let's go.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I like the. I know what you said about the rhyming, and it is kind of talking almost, but it's the way he goes, race the babies, the babies, like that. The way he does that. It's the. I don't know who informed his technical, like the way he rhymed. You know, he really elongated, really leaned into some of those moments. I'm trying to think of who. Please let us know if people know, but like who kind of informed that. I know Shock G was very important to, you know, Pac kind of thing, but I just wonder where that came from, and if you just landed on it and felt more comfortable doing that. But you can't. The prolificness of him, it just comes to bear when you think. This is essential. All that music we've got. I think something like Keep Your Head Up is essential to understanding Tupac. And this is why, if you're playing it to an alien, just listen to the bars. Like, it probably is, if not the women's right anthem in male hip hop. I don't know many others that are this kind of anthemic. It's an anthem, if you know what I mean. And by that same thing, you have that thing of his legacy of he's, you know, getting sentenced, he's fucking crying in the courtroom, saying sorry after going, it is sexual abuse he got convicted for. Yeah, he's got this song in his canon. And I think you have to understand his relationship with women, his mum, he's paying tribute to his mum in this song as well, and the women around him. And I think actually that song came out a month before he got convicted of sexual assault. So you're like, geez, this is probably at the time even more crazy how it's all like, but yeah, no, but you talk about his response to the shooting in LA of the young girl. You know what's interesting is if you could have gone into the booth, you could have been a darker, more angry. This is not uplifting, it's tragic, but it is a celebration of black women and black people. And the sensitivity in this song is what redeems Pac to people now. Like, you can all say, oh yeah, but he lived that gangster life, lived by the sword, died by the sword, all this. But these are the songs. Keep Your Head Up is that kind of song. Dear Mama is that kind of song where people can be like, well, no, he also did this and he's kind of a poet and all this stuff. And yeah.
That's just not who he was at this point, Like, he was not the darker, more violent, thug that he became to be in his later albums. That's just, he hasn't hit that point in his transition yet.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. One of the first songs I'd ever heard to talk on colorism. I'd never thought about colorism. We have it in Indian culture. If you're always making yourself look light, and it's like, no, make sure you look white, make sure you look white. And then him to talk about it in this, the black of the berry, the sweet of the juice. And I was like, oh God, yeah, like I'd never thought of it. And Jesus Christ, look at the lineage of this song to Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick's is pretty incredible. You have a 1996 superstar, and then you have a noughties, more like 2010s superstar, and it's all Pac. This is what I'm saying. This is how huge it is. It's all Pac. And I'm not saying Kendrick's all Pac, but he's massively in the DNA of his music. Right. So, number 6. We're going to have fun now. Let's just quickly go to the chat there before we go here. Dan O, it is the most fun Pac album. I think he means Thug Life, because he says, I will die on the hill with Cam for pour out a little liquor. Oh, fair play, Dano. A moment of pure emotional resonance where he made all of it. Yeah, feel for it. Yeah, exactly. We made all of us feel for it. That's what you meant. Feel it. That's what you meant. There you go. And Jack P, All Eyes on Me was just so groovy and effortless to rap along to, in the same way Juicy always was for Biggie, without it being his best work. Interesting point. Yeah. Okay, interesting point. Right, here we go. Number 6. Can't See Me. From All Eyes
you
on Me.
dickhead. See you later. Done. I'm going home.
I knew this was getting him upset. I knew it would.
I'm already at home.
Guessing it's in your 5, Ray. Guessing it's in your 5.
It's the fucking number 1 track of all time. It's arguably one of the greatest. It's ridiculous. What are you talking about?
This is your number 1
6.
song.
Number 6. Have you listened to any Tupac? Did you do any work?
I did. I hope. Yeah, it took a long time to get this list together, mate. it was. To be fair to Ray though, Can't See Me was top 3 when I started this list. It was. You talk about like just compiling your favourites. Absolute, yeah, definitely. But this list is a bit more. I want to get the multi-dimension. I think there's another song that does what Can't See Me does for me. But for Ray, it's in his 5. Ray, break down why it's number 1. Wow, number 1. Tell me why.
Out of all the Tupac's albums, All Eyes on Me is his best album, and so then this is the best track on the album. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I see.
It's logic. It's simple logic. You're breaking it down.
But also, like you've narrowed it because there's no features. So you've narrowed it already.
Yeah, exactly. There's no features. And
George Clinton feature.
It doesn't count. Doesn't count. Little chorus mentions.
He's doing the hook. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but that's the thing with Can't See Me. There's the fucking audacity of Tupac. Your album is called All Eyes on Me, and the biggest track is You Can't See Me.
You're looking right at me if you can't see me.
Yeah. All eyes are on me, but you can't see me. Love it.
But yeah, it's just like, so we were saying before about like he's not in my top 5, so I won't pretend that he ever was. But he switches up his flow in all the verses. But let's go with the first verse, and it's fire and passion and just fucking in your face. Give me my money in stacks and lace my bitches with dime figures. Real ends figures on nickel plated 9 triggers. I see my enemies defeated. Just all of it. It's just, and even I've just said that, I know everyone in the chat and both of you're kind of finishing the verse in your head. The rhythm of it. It's just, you can't. we usually start these episodes with what was your least hip hop thing.
Oh yeah, we've got to do that. Oh, sorry.
I'm on the 15th floor of an apartment block here. So there's an elevator situation, and there's mirrors in there. And I get into the elevator and I bump it in the headphones. I'm like, yeah, just got iPhones. You can't, there's a lot of Tupac's music. You can't help but move to it.
Yeah.
Anyway, the lift stopped on an intermediate floor and people got in and I was like, oh, I'm not dancing to myself. It's just
yeah.
a moment of like,
and then you have to try to not dance. That's even harder.
Can't explain it. Yeah, and then you have to sit there and because you're not quite aware in the lift if people can hear your headphones or not, so you kind of stop it and just pretend that you were just having the best.
No, teach them. I think the opposite. Keep your headphones on. Turn them louder if anything, because they need to learn. People sometimes.
Well, just the thing was, then do you stop and explain to people for the next 12 floors like, oh, it's a podcast research. That's why I'm dancing.
Just say I love Tupac. Why don't you? Let's say that. Yeah. Why don't you love Tupac as much as I do? Okay, I like that. But look, Ray, it is my number 6. So let's not sleep on the fact I have 37. Right? It is still number 6. It is still very high. So I understand you're upset, but it is. It's a
You've got to have
powerful.
This 5.
Yeah, I know. This way you get to shoot me down.
Yeah.
I said I'd put the disclaimer at the top. People are going to leave disappointed. But one of the best songs to change a climate, we've talked about this before, climate changing cuts. Can't See Me is probably top 3. Easy. Just any song, put it on. That production, Dr. Dre.
Yeah, it's Dre. Yeah, Dre's production again as well. And it's got all of, I guess what he was later on in his career, the paranoia and that, like, are you friend or foe? You ain't know.
You ain't know.
I don't know. This whole like, who to trust kind of thing.
Yeah. But
it's got girls, money, guns, shootouts, enemies defeated. It's got everything. It's all ticks all the boxes.
Pure gangster. Yeah, it's 100% pure gangster. Rob, I'm going to come to you, but I was just going to say, it is interesting how this was originally a Dog Pound song on dog food. How are you cutting this? Who there was saying, yeah, let's definitely play Let's Keep Doctor or let's play House and cut Can't See Me? Like, come on. Like, I understand people like Let's Play House, but I've never really enjoyed it. I love dog food, though. But I was just thinking, how have you cut that? And then, this is rumours, but we love rumours in 90s hip-hop because no one can, they're unsubstantiated. But it was actually going to be for Helter Skelter. Do you remember Dre and Cube's collaboration project that they did? What's that song again with the video? Can't remember now. But they did a song together. This was supposed to be the beat for one of their songs. And I think Cube would have killed this. But Pac made it so his own. And like my own mama say I'm thugged out. Wait, my own mum is saying I'm thugged out. Be shit popping at the record store if this is a drug house. And that, just as a kid, just the emphaticness of it. Yeah, I absolutely love Can't See Me. You're right. Oh God, maybe I should have put it in my top 5. But let's raise it. I feel bad. Yeah. Now I'm thinking about it. Shit, yeah, no, it's such a good song. Jack P, got that. Jack P, nearly an hour in and still not a top 5. That's what we do. That's what we're known for. Nick Sheffield, always the way, Jack. Yeah, Nick knows. Settle in, guys. Jack P. So I think we've got his number 1.
Can't See Me, number 1. Boom. Thank you.
Can't
Thank you very
See
much.
Me is my number 1. The beat is so raw, and the flow on it is just perfect. He's ferocious. He is, absolutely. It starts off the second disc. It starts off that disc where you're like, why have you peaked here already? A box when I was younger, it was my walkout song. Oh, said Jack P.
That's it. That is it. That's a walkout song.
And passion just got me so pumped. Rob, I'm sorry I didn't come to you now, but please tell me what you think. You're going to hate the song, aren't you?
No. I don't hate it. It's not in my top 5, but I don't hate it. I don't have much else to say about it other than I love that he sort of kept the digital underground funk influence, even though, Shock G wasn't involved and all that. So me, that he kept that thread in this record. Yeah. I love that about that song.
No, absolutely. It's an interesting paradox though, because you have the fun Parliament, kind of hook. It's all like, yeah. But he just is dragging it down with his gangsterisms about like taking it out on his enemies. And I bet George Clinton was a bit like, but George Clinton obviously is a bit like, yeah, you can see me, I suppose, that kind of thing. But that tension really adds to it for me. I find it's a great experience just to hear it. But we're just refusing to rise above that bullshit, and Clinton just going, all right, then fair enough. I'll just be over here. But anyway, so here we go then, guys. In the chat, please drop your top fives. Here's my number 5 song. And I already know it's not going to be in Ray's, and I probably isn't going to be in Rob's, and this is when people are going to start getting upset. But this is probably my my favorite Tupac verse ever, probably one of easily. For people who say you can't hold it down with technical MCs, I would put this song and If I Die Tonight up there as well. It's just the way he delivers this on No More Pain from All Eyez on Me. All Eyez on Me getting big representation in this podcast at the moment. But yeah, No More Pain, Devante, Jodeci. Oh, I love Jodeci as a kid. But just when that ding, 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 the way that comes in, the Method Man interpolation. I've always loved this song as a kid. I remember it just always be. This is another one I analysed. Sorry, this was the other one I analysed. It's a sixth former. And I remember now listening to it, it sounds like something 3 6 Mafia could have done in 96. Absolutely. That beat is a 3 6. But then it makes you think of the One Nation thing and how he wanted to combine with Boot Camp Click and Outkast and Dungeon Family and Big Gip and all these people and make this new movement after Death Row, which we never got to see. But in this beat, I kind of can absolutely hear it. My adversaries crying like hoes, fully eradicate my flaws, my lyrics are spelled on contact, gaming you hoes. The way he's just rhyming on that, it's just like, oh, my mama's only son, running niggas on the one. Yeah, I could just rhyme the whole thing, but I'm not going to. But it's just vicious, absolutely vicious. I think it's almost horrorcore. I would say at that point, I was very into Gravediggers, very into my RZA sound, and this isn't that, but it is. If G-Funk went there, but it kept G-Funk in it, yeah. And then it's like for me, it's very like I remember it really well when it's like my only fear of death is reincarnation, whole heart of a soldier with a brain to teach a whole nation, and feeling no more pain. I didn't know Activist Pack when I heard this. I heard All Eyez on Me first. And I remember thinking, oh shit, like you're bringing some like Ice Cube shit here, you know what I mean, kind of thing. And just a declaration of allegiance of what he's living right now. This is the world I'm living in, and this is what I'm going to do. And he just combat and hate. It tinges all the words, and yeah, it's just like fuck me. Yeah, he's just absolutely. It's very eerie and kind of sad now when you think about it. But yeah, and also Ray, one of our favorite bits is the epitome of Tupac talking shit at the end of a song. He loved doing that, didn't he? Add another 60 seconds. Beat's great, so it's always good. But like, he just loved doing it on All Eyez on Me. Just I'm gonna go after this guy. After this guy. So yes, No More Pain, top 5. Anyone with thoughts on No More Pain, shortlists, anything like that?
Didn't make my list.
Didn't make your list. Any thoughts on it, Rob? Do you like it?
I do like it. I'd kind of forgotten about it until this past week when I was revisiting the album.
Interesting.
And when it came on, I was like, it kind of surprised me for some reason. I was like, oh yeah, this song is after America's Most Wanted. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. Yeah, it's a song I enjoyed, and I remember like latching on to the conscious threads that you're talking about as well. But for some reason, just never thought about it again.
Yeah, that's interesting. I did put out some stuff on Twitter, and a few people did come up with No More Pain. So it kind of made me feel like, oh, it isn't just me, but I don't know anyone who really talk. But it is I suppose it is my favorite, but it's his allegiance to that world.
You can be incorrect, and they can be incorrect as well. This tune isn't not the one. It's not. It doesn't get onto a top 5, and it's slow rapping Pac as well. Like
exactly.
When you got fast rapping Tupac tunes and the passion and the fire and that comes to it. And the beat, this was always a skip for me.
It's a very sparse beat, I'll give you that. It's not like some of the other tracks on that album, but it is very eerie, gives him space to really rhyme. But you're right, I suppose that's why people don't talk about it as much, because it is so different to the rest of the album, I suppose. But again,
I don't care about people talking about. Who are these people talking about anything? Who are you?
There are people out there outside of this podcast.
People over there. Just people out on my balcony outside.
You're right.
Shall I invite them in? What are we talking about here?
I could just be making this all up. You're right. I could just be making all this up. Absolutely. So as I knew I was going to get the shit for that one, that's absolutely fine. Let's go to 4 then. Let's go to number 4, right? So number 4, again, a song that I assume is on a lot of people's top 5s, but it was maybe top 1, top 2 years and years ago. It is Dear Mama at number 4. Dear Mama at number 4, Me Against the World, Tony Pizarro on the beat, I think. Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about aliens and playing an alien, a Pac song, I think this is one of the most open songs in hip hop history. This is the heart of Pac on a song kind of thing. And I think an alien would need to know, if you want to understand Pac, you need to know about his mum, and you kind of need to know his lineage and this kind of awe-inspiring duality of himself. For you guys, is Dear Mama in your 5s?
No. Slowpack's not anywhere.
Terribly. This is going terribly.
Slowpack ain't anywhere.
Dear Mama is anywhere. Rob, Dear Mama for you, is it anywhere?
It's not in my 5 either. And I think it's just a matter of fatigue. Like, I heard that song so much. I could probably recite the whole thing for you. Yeah. I'm not going to, but I think that's it for me. Like, it's just too familiar.
Interesting. That's interesting. Again, my criteria of trying to, get the dimensions of Pac in my 5, as well as be some of my favorite. I just love the beat on this as well. The beat is like, I know it's slow Pac, so maybe for the slow Pac people, for the fast Pac people, probably not the one. But like just them dark notes of anger and despair, but just acceptance of what's happening. Of who his mum is, what she went through, and the system, obviously, that they've grown up in, kind of thing. And it was a level of maturity, I suppose, in a very immature period of my life that I hadn't really heard in rap. And maybe even seldom in 90s rap, especially this big. I assume this is one of his biggest songs. And I think that topic of authenticity has always been really big in gangster rap anyway. Are you real? Are you real? Are you down? That type of thing. And I just think now, when you look at this, he's being real outside of gangster rap in like as well, that gangster rap trope that you always hear. But he's talking about being really real, about like, this is your thoughts and feelings and fears kind of thing. And it did add a softer dimension, absolutely, in a time when I loved hard hip hop, that kind of thing. Even Tribe were kind of hard with their beats kind of thing. But I think it's kind of crucial to really think about Pac in that way, that he could go there and do it better than kind of anyone. I can't think any other rapper who do it better than Pac. Even Drake now.
I don't need to hear any of my favorite rappers rapping about their relationship with their mum. I'm sure they have it, and respect to people have it, and I hope everyone has a great relationship with their parents. Of course, I don't want to hear it. What are you talking about? I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that.
But in other music,
I feel like Tupac's motivation for making this tune wasn't to appeal to his fans. It's like, all right, there's other people that might want to hear something else. And to those people, the mothers of the non-hip hop fans might have been, oh wow, and maybe that's why it's a tune that's so massively listened. It's got I don't know how many listens it's got on Spotify.
I've got the top 5 Spotify coming up.
Yeah, right, it's got one of his. It's probably got to be one of his most listened tunes, but it's nowhere near one of his best tunes, and it doesn't belong in this top 5.
But to that point, like, this was a song I could play in front of my parents and not worry. Like I knew they would hear and they would somehow appreciate it.
Yeah. But again, I suppose it's a pro and a con if you don't want your parents to know about hip hop. But also it's a pro because you kind of want hip hop to reach the masses and see the power of what it can do. It's interesting you don't want to hear about mum. I don't know, because I listen to singer-songwriters. I kind of want to listen to the relationships they've got, like their wives, their kids, their mothers, their fathers. I actually like that, like Towns Van Zandt, like people like that. I like to hear how you've grown up. Johnny Cash, people like that. Whereas in hip-hop, I still like that. I don't know. So it's kind of a musical thing for me, maybe, that I like to learn about the artist. But yeah, man, I just kind of still play that as well. I do understand the fatigue. There was a moment in life where I just never listened to it. But I think becoming a dad, having hip hop to play around a kid, only so that limits it straight away. So it's either like just instrumentals or stuff like this. And obviously my wife loves it as well. So, and it is always on radio and it is always on MTV and stuff like that, like, the channels and that. So yeah, okay. So that's 4. I've got 3 more. Let's just quickly see what people's top 5s are then. Rob, we're going to really dig into yours. I don't think have we nailed it? Should we have a quick recap? How many
we got Keep Your Head Up. That was my number 2.
Keep Your Head Up. That's the only one. Oh, yeah. Rob, this is what I'm saying. I'm excited for this. Ray, how many we've got yours so far?
Just one.
Boom. Okay. So
Can't see me.
let's see. Jack P. My 5 are Can't See Me. Boom. Ambitionz as a Rider. It Ain't Easy. Good shout. It Ain't Easy. All Eyes on Me and Old School. I love the inclusion of Old School. It's very much like LL Cool J's hip hop, if anyone's heard that song, but it is like Pac, and he never does that, whereas LL Cool J did do that. Steve Piper. If Pac had linked up with the BBC, the song titles would have been called Hard to Understand. That's good. I like that. I like it. Free Music. So Many Tears. Greater than Dear Mama. This Is Why Me and You Get On, Dano. A little spoiler for later. Ninjas Rose. 2 slightly off-topic questions, Cam. Did you get your MF Doom tattoo finished? Also, have you got someone else planned for after this? Yes, I mean, I haven't got it finished. That's true. It's money, mate. I need some more money to get my MF Doom tattoo finished. But someone did say to me the other day, if you're doing top 5 MF Doom, by the way, that's going to be one of the hardest episodes ever. And that person is right. And unfortunately, we are going to have to do that because we need to know which song goes on the Alien playlist. This is what we're doing it for. This is what we're trying to do it, right? So, Dear Mama, Aliens, I think, there's not many songs that do what Dear Mama does, so I think that holds a strong case for Aliens, I think. Maybe the strongest. Oh,
No.
But no, this is what I'm
Veto.
saying. We'll make the arguments.
Veto. I don't know if I have veto power. But
I don't think anyone does. No, I don't think you do. No, you don't. But number three. Now we're cooking. Top 3. California Love remix. California Love remix. And it is the remix. It is the remix. That's my first love. Just, if you're talking about Aliens, why does an alien hear this? For me, this is the levels of the Beatles kind of anthems that will go on forever. California Love will live on forever. It is a timeless song to me. It transcends hip hop completely to a world of like just pop culture. It becomes pop culture. His first number 1. So defining moment, I think, for me in the era of loving West Coast rap. Obviously loved Doggy Style. I did. But what this had was the 2 gargantuan sons colliding of Dre and Pac in 96, 95. Like, you could probably argue the biggest next to Biggie rappers in hip hop at that point, superstar wise. I mean, like, sales and all that stuff. So to see them combine on this and truly flex the commercial power muscles of hip hop, like, this is what we can do. This is how good we can make hip hop. And it's like that summer kind of tinge to it. I did hear it was supposed to be for Chronic 2. So I'm wondering what Dre thought about 2001, like, if this was going to be on 2001 or what. But obviously Pat got it. As you said, he probably was in there like, no, it's me. I want this. I'll give it me now. Essentially what he was in 96, wasn't it? Demanding things.
Yeah.
And not to sleep on the context of it all, if you are understanding Pac, talk about a return to the mainstream. He's just come out of jail and he's released this and the original, which a lot of people prefer. I prefer the remix. I'll tell you why. And I would like to know from you guys why, which one you like. But I think that first note, when I heard it as a kid, it is like a war cry to dance, get to the dance floor. That comes on. It is a truly iconic moment for me of the time capsule of 1996. I can't think of many songs that had hit me that hard. And it's just the heartbeat of hip hop for me. It's like the heartbeat and living. And the track is about just living in joyous shit. And yes, he calls out people, but the music is not that. And that's why I love the remix. People come at me, obviously, if you want to, but the original does not have the Roger Troutman.
I will. Just
Roger Troutman. One of my favorite moments in music generally is the outro to the remix, where he is going up with that talk box and dripping with just funk and really tying it back, like you said earlier, Rob, about the Shock G, Parliament, P-Funk, Funkadelic, all that, and Zap, and DJ Quick obviously producing, helping master a lot of this and producing on this album. And then you throw in the cadence and Dre. And you throw in this, I don't know if he wrote for Dre on this, but I know he sometimes has that, doesn't he, Dre? But like, out on bail, fresh out of jail, California dreaming, just interlope, like just completely referencing the Mamas and Papas California dreaming to, no. This is California dreaming now. You've had your 60s, you've had your 70s, mainstream is now, this is California dreaming. And I just think, Fiending for Money, Alcohol, Life of West Side Player. Like, this is his MO. This is who he is now. And even that LA is where we riot, not rally. I always thought that was a bit of shade to the East Coast and this East-West beef. Like, we riot over here. You guys are too busy with your fucking rallies. Whichever works, whichever. But, you know, he's obviously derogatory on it. And, that's kind of, yeah. And before I talk about the remix, has the bass line. That bass line, that bass line like reverberates in you more than the original. But I do love the original as well. So I kind of like both. I love both, to be fair. Guys, California Love, is it in your fives? Not for Rob.
No.
Not for Ray.
Not for Ray either.
Jesus Christ. This is it. The Biggie episode was so much like, oh yeah, that's in your five, right? Yeah. But California Love, thoughts, queries, questions, anything on that? Rob?
I love the video.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll just say heavy nostalgia for me, kind of like what you were saying, Cam, like an anthem for that year of my life. So heavy nostalgia with this song. I also loved his just boldness opening this song, out on bail, fresh out of jail, like just putting it out there. And I have to say though, the original is the version that I connect with the most, just because it's what I heard first. And I've always preferred that, I guess, for that reason. But the video, I was talking about the video. The video is incredible. The video is one of those videos that has like, I can see it in my mind in a way that I can't many other videos from that time or from my childhood.
That's what I love the remix. I mean, but you know, when he wakes up and like then he gets into the next video. They actually did it. You know, back in the day, it'd be like to be concluded at the end of a 90s rap video.
Yes.
And you'd never fucking get the conclusion ever. I think Nas did that a few times. DMX did that a few times. They never knew what happened next. They actually thought it through. And yeah, I heard the remix first, so maybe that's what it is. I think the remix was on the album, and then the original came on the Greatest Hits When Changes and stuff. Was on, wasn't it? But yeah, no, I mean, California Love, Ray, one of our party tracks, man. Back in the day, me and you, house parties.
Yeah, it's definitely one of our party tracks. But you know, Dre didn't write his lyrics. I don't know who did. And
I bet
it's just I think the original is just way superior. I don't know I don't know where you go with that.
Okay, that's fine.
Easily. And just, I don't know. So obviously it's a great track. It's not the strongest track on All Eyez on Me. And but just the audacity of like, so what you just said as well was like, out on bail, fresh out of jail, California dreaming. As soon as I step on that, bearing in mind what he's is out on bail for, you know, the offense. Like, as soon as I step on the scene, I'm hearing Hoochie screaming. Why are they screaming?
No, true.
Do you know what I mean? Why are you? You're on bail for something. Come on, putting it right out there. Just as like, I'm hearing Hoochie scream. What? Because you're sexually assaulting them, or they?
Yeah, that's interesting.
But I wonder if he thought that.
Obviously, it's taken to mean because you know he's you know, big star and whatever. But I obviously enjoyed the track at the time. You
still listen to it,
but it's not. No, it's not.
Really?
I skip it. I don't. It's not one that I look forward to listening to on All Eyez on Me. There's too many more incredible tracks on there, and I feel like as well, similar to what we said about other tracks, it's just you heard it too much.
Yeah,
and it's one that it's one that you know maybe is too much of a pop. It's a pop track, isn't it? Really, on the hard side of pop tracks, obviously, but
definitely commercial, absolutely. And I suppose this is in a time when maybe it's not cool to be commercial. Obviously, he's fucking cool, but I'm saying like it might have been a bit more like cool back in the day to be like, yeah, you might like that, but I got Woo, I got Jizz's Liquid Swords here, I've got, you know, that kind of thing, which is fine. You know, again, I was that way, but yeah, I suppose another thing is that your environment when you learn it. I remember me and my cousin sisters watching it for the same time, and both of our minds being blown. You remember, it's like watching the Triumph video for the first time, because over here, Rob, we got it on top of the pops. You never got anything on top of it. And Triumph, they were like, here's the most expensive music video ever. Bang. And they kind of ended on the pops with it. I was like, what? They're playing the whole 7 minutes, whatever it is. And I just remember sitting there with my cousin and we were watching, and minds were like, great. And that, what? And you're like, just what is going on? That house party looked like the best house party ever. And as a 15-year-old, 16-year-old, you're like, I want that. I want to be there. I want that kind of thing. And just the LA vibes to it all. And I know To Live and Die in LA is an incredible song, but this is the California heartbeat, man. Absolutely. Like when I go to California next, I'm playing this song. Absolutely. So yeah.
I'll just say one more thing about it. Maybe critical thing.
For sure. No, absolutely.
As an East Coast native, there was always a part of me that was like, I don't give a shit about California. Like, I don't connect to these lyrics at all. Like, it's fun to listen to, but
yeah, no, fair.
Yeah,
that's fascinating. Yeah, no, obviously it's great perspective because I didn't have that. So yeah, so let's have a look then. Let's see what we've got going on in the chat before I. Oh, Ninja Rose, I missed your top 5. Did I really? Where's your top 5? Hold on. Anyone can see top 5? Ray, can you see it? I can't see it. Ninja Rose, please drop that again. I missed your top 5. California Love is in my top 5, says Nick Sheffield. Boom, Nick. This is why I love you. Ninja Rose, oh yeah, feel your pain on the tattoos. Oh yeah, there we go. I've spent a ludicrous amount of money on them lately. Yeah, it's true. It does cost a lot. I wish all 3 of you had come onto the YouTube dressed in California Love Video Road. Right, in California Video Love wardrobe, if we had to all come as characters from the California Love video, which one would it be and why? You'd have to answer.
Tina Turner,
yeah,
obviously.
I can so see Ray with the eye patch as well. Ray with the eye patch. Absolutely, isn't it, Ray? Yeah? You take that? I take the remix, as I've just been talking about all this time, and I take the bowler hat and the vest. Not with this gut I've got. I'm talking about when I'm 15, 16. I'd have took the vest then. A vest would not look good on me right now. That would have been a different type of music video if that happened. But there we go. I like that, right? Dano, who said that, brilliant. Mad Max, loved that. Yeah, the video was huge. It's massive. If you do decide to do a Doom top 5, I'm going to need a couple of months, says Steve Piper. Absolutely. Dano, in defense of Cam getting no high fives on his list, Pack is more material than Biggie, so you're bound to find yourself on an island. You're right, Dan. I was thinking the same thing. Biggie has that much more finite, and you have a lot more crossover, which is why I was thinking it'd be quite interesting to see people's top 5s, and it will be when we hear your guys. Jack P, I'd easily have a breakdown trying to do MF Doom. Yeah, it would be that. And Ninja Rose, I've already got anxiety thinking about trying to compile a list. This is what we do. We fill people with anxiety, hatred, and just disdain. So yeah, fair play. What a podcast. So number 2 then. Number 2, we're almost there, guys. I'm not going to mess about here. Hit 'em up. Hit 'em up.
Wow.
For all the shit that it obviously ignited and the negative energy around it, it's still one of the greatest songs, though, I find.
Wow.
So hit 'em up, guys. Any love or hate or what's your thoughts on Hit 'em up?
I have such a conflicting thoughts and feelings about that song. I think it's like, one of the greatest diss tracks ever made. It's also one of the scariest diss tracks ever made. And at the time, I was like, holy shit, this is incredible. But also, I hate this. Like, I wanted to keep the peace. I did not want songs like this to like continue this ridiculous beef that they had going. And he's also coming at artists that, I really love, like Mobb Deep.
Yeah, true.
And of course, Biggie. So it's an interesting sort of contradiction that exists within me about this song. It didn't make my list.
You're absolutely right, though. It is a difficult song to kind of square at the with all that stuff involved. I will dip into why I've done it. Ray, Hit 'em up for you.
So yeah, it's not in my 5 because it's got Outlaw and Waters on and
yeah,
shit.
that is
but that's a big reason. But it's if we talk about hip hop as a whole and battling, and just the whole concept of going head to head and all that kind of stuff. I know this is bigger than that. It's beef, but it's in terms of that, it's like as soon as you talk about battle tracks, head to head tracks, just stuff where people are taking piss. This is number 1. This is number 1. This is all time number 1. There's not another. There's no discussion about these kind of tracks without hit them up, is it? But it's,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
but it is more anger than clever. You know, he's
yeah.
not really.
Yeah,
There's no
it's just
clever. This
unhinged.
It's
Yeah,
unhinged when he's like,
yeah.
my 4-4, make sure all your kids don't grow. I remember as a kid thinking, that is ridiculous. But I suppose why I've got it in my 5 at 2 is the sheer power of it and the sheer epitome. If you're talking about aliens, if an alien needs to hear where rap can take the epitome of going too far, you've gone too far. All you've left is ashes and charred ruins in your midst after hearing this. You can't come back from something like the stuff he said. And it's when that transformation of diss tracks becoming vile and deadly.
Yeah.
It wasn't, No Vaseline was on that razor's edge. It did. It wasn't deadly as much as this was, but vitriol and how much it incites an audience to take notice. And how, I was thinking, if you are talking to an alien and you want hip hop to even kind of maybe touch on humanity and how humans work, how humans love drama and conflict. And yes, I have grown older and been like, that was just shit. That was just shit. That's what happened. That is shit what happened. And this massively, you know, added to the furore and really fed into the media cycle of it all. But I can't lie that when I was 16, the drama was everything. The drama was like, again, we were so detached from it. But it's when they pass away where you're like, oh, fuck. Like, I didn't really. It's a bit like, you know, when Kurt Cobain, he died and you were like, oh, yeah, I never really saw the signifiers. I just love the songs. And I didn't really see the signifiers that you were really in pain, mate. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Obviously, you grow from that. And when they've passed, you know about it. But yeah, I mean, it's a poisonous song, really is. But how can you make such a poisonous song, right, sound so commercially appealing and chart smash hit kind of thing? It has the two. The beat and everything is like, fuck me, so brutal. But yeah, Jesus Christ, the way you're taking the Junior Mafia sample of Get Money and Take Money. And I think the nihilism, the sheer nihilism of killing ain't fair, but somebody got to do it. I remember him saying that and me being like, holy fuck, that's just nihilist. That's not even, like you said, it's unhinged. It's like, you don't have to kill, mate. He's like, no, it's not fair, but someone's got to do it. And it's this weird storytelling. Ray said earlier, right at the top of this, is he acting? Is he not acting? And I think, did he really go to bed with Faith Evans? Did Biggie really attack him? We don't know. But Pac is saying all these things and it's the storytelling, myth-telling. Now you've said, I slept with your wife. A large percentage of people are going to believe that. And it's the way he's telling the story that the media just absolutely ran with. And yeah, like it was detrimental in that aspect. But yeah, I don't even know if I've seen much of it. I think it was a real signifier in hip hop where Jay-Z and Nas were like, yeah, we'll do Takeover and we'll do like Ether, but we can't.
There are lines we don't cross. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's what Nas hit.
And the thing is, there was I don't know, cleverness to that. Like, yeah, you made it a hot line, I made it a hot song. You know, there's this stuff that you're like, oh shit, there's, you know, the drops that you would, you know, the stuff that if it was an actual battle on stage, there are lines where you'd react and you wouldn't even hear the next two lines because people are reacting to it, you know. But there's not really this, I don't know.
Your reaction is just different, isn't it? Your reaction is more like an emotional reaction rather than a cerebral. Like kind of,
okay.
Yeah.
Why are you so angry? But the thing, there's a little part of me as well that's still, like I said, it's at the top that, you know, that he is playing a character, you know, like they're, and if they were all in the room together, he wouldn't, you know, pull out an unlicensed firearm and shoot them. He'd be like, oh, Biggie, it's so good to see you. Oh, wow, it's great. We're playing these characters.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sort of of the opinion that I'm not even sure Pac knew if he was playing a character or not. Like he took the method acting too far. Now he's become the character, sort of. That's how I always thought about it.
But he lived it, didn't he? Remember when he was when he was spitting at the camera and he was lifting his shirt up with a thug life and out the window with his fingers and stuff like that? He was living that. So I am a bit like, fuck me, would he have? I wouldn't be surprised. Like, you know, if he'd have just gone that far, if he'd have seen him. He's look at that beatdown of Orlando Bloom before he passes away. Pac is living that. He's not doing it for CCTV. He's doing that, you know, and it was lethal. It was lethal what happened. But just as you have, and I suppose I'm guilty of putting this at number 2, of maybe doing this, but I'm at least trying to be aware of it. But it's definitely it does carry the whiff of like the legacy of this song. Because let's not forget, when this song came out, it opened the floodgates. There was, New York, New York, and LA, and all these people were it opened the floodgates for beef. It really kickstarted it to a new level. But it does hold this whole whiff of, oh, look at these, young black men fighting, and isn't it fun? Isn't it fun to watch these two guys fight and stuff like that? And I feel like I've grown from that, but it is also like essential to your understanding of Pac. You can't have Dear Mama on one side and not have Hit 'Em Up, because you need to know the extreme points, the polar opposites of Pac. Like, this is the same guy did Dear Mama. Jesus,
you could have neither, but
well, you could have neither. You could have neither, yeah. But I suppose in my 5, yeah. But yeah, just completely transformation of a person. So I've got my number 1 coming. Let's just quickly look at. And you guys have got so much to break down for us here. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to do my number 1. Let's do my number 1. My number 1.
Wait, hang on.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think if I can guess it.
Oh, yeah, please do. If you guys can guess it. It's quite well known, I would thought. No, can't guess it.
There's too much. There's too much. No,
there was a lot of work. There was a lot of work. So, well, let me give you the top 5 from Spotify. Top 5 from Spotify. You talked about it earlier. I just found it here. Number 1's Hit 'Em Up. Number 2's California Love. Original. Fuck you, Cam. In the Mud. Number 3, Ambitionz of Ridah. Ambitionz of Ridah. Number 3. Number 4, All Eyes on Me. And number 5, Changes, which got discounted from my list. And the numbers they're racking up are something like 586 million. So this is how big he is still, on Spotify. My number 1, Shock G, making an appearance at number 1 as a producer on this, which kind of feels good for me. So Many Tears. So Many Tears. Tupac, Me Against the World. I have a lot to say about this song, but you guys, does So Many Tears make anyone's 5?
The irony of that choice is that it causes me so many tears.
True. Okay. Rob?
It's also my number 1.
Oh, Rob.
So I suppose Ray gets outvoted here.
The aliens are only listening to one song now from Pac, and it's not what you wanted, Ray. But so many. Rob, you're the guest. Please break down to me why it is your number 1, because that's a big thing for Pac.
Yeah. So I'll try to keep this brief. I grew up in a fairly conservative Christian household and went to school at a fairly conservative Baptist Christian school. When I was in high school, I remember shortly after Pac's death, there was a Bible class where we listened to this song for some reason as an example. I think of like spiritual warfare, but also I think in an attempt to like help some of us understand Pac's death, because I had classmates that were pretty upset, broken up about his murder. So in this conservative setting where Pac's music would have been considered immoral, we're listening to So Many Tears, and I remember the teacher hearing it and immediately getting it. Like she could hear his pain, and that allowed her to like empathize in a way with him. And I just think that's what's great about this song. It makes him human. It articulates some of the underlying cause of his otherwise like wild behavior and the behavior of his like thug persona in a way that just contextualizes it for the listener. I don't know how anyone could hear this song and not feel something. It wasn't necessarily the first time we heard Pac like express his humanity, but this song, after he's been shot and he's facing legal issues and allegations, and to hear him just be so open about all of that was striking. Inside my mind couldn't find a place to rest till I got the thug life tatted on my chest. That this thug shit, that's about belonging. It's about feeling that you fit in somewhere. And all the shit that he went through from the start of his career, the political criticism, Dan Quayle bullshit, the attempts to censor music, attempts on his life, sexual assault allegations. He addresses all of that. Let's see. Now that I'm struggling in the Spanish business by any means, label me greedy, getting green. I spend my time in a cell and living well. I know my destiny is hell. That shit is heavy, so heavy. And I connect with it on a human level. And I think the thing that keeps it from being like, you mentioned Shaq G on the production. The thing that keeps it, I think, from being just like utterly depressing is the beat. Like the cymbal claps on this song are just so great.
They come pierce through those cymbal claps.
Yeah, and the guitar, you know, has this bluesy feel that fits the tone of the song. Shaq G, I think, this song is like an example of his sort of subtle genius.
Yes.
Also,
there was an original. There was an original version, wasn't there? There's a Shock G original version, I think, of this song as well. And I don't find it as good, but it is interesting how the original version is still out there on the web if you want to check it out. But yeah, absolutely. Sorry, Rob, you were saying?
I was pretty much done. I mean, it's wild to me that this song was such a big hit, just because of the sort of vulnerability that's in it. But yeah, love this song.
Yeah, I'm so glad that it's up there high for you as well. For me, it's four incredible verses of dark, hot, like it's hip hop, it's fame, it's America, it's being shot, like all entwined with like just minutes of music, and it's incredible what he does with so much, like in 4 verses, and it's just stark naked, man. And you're right. And just don't stand. I'm suicidal. Don't stand near me. Every move is a calculated step to bring me closer to embrace an early death. Now there's nothing left. This is when I started seeing that element of death is really real for this guy, and it is probably going to come to him at some point, just way too early. And I just think some of the most powerful words in this whole catalogue, if not the most, for me, because as a kid, I remember just thinking he's growing up to, that's another thing, when he breaks down growing up depressed with death around him, but such a strong sense of identity, where he's like, back in elementary, I thrived on misery. And I was like, shit, man, you must have been, he's actually just repressed. Again, this is the Drake emo shit you're getting like years later, decades later of people talking about this. And, the tattooed on my chest line is unbelievable, but also questioning, you know, where you are, and inside my own mind, I couldn't find a place to rest and all that stuff. And Jesus, that remarkable passage where he says, I fuck the world because I'm cursed. I'm having visions of leaving in here in a hearse. All these moments. And you're just like, yeah, just, you said it really well there, Rob. And yeah, I just think it's really interesting for someone like him who he's gone through, questioning if you're going to heaven. And if heaven, you know, is universal to millions of people and represented in a society, it's interesting you had it in a Bible class, because it's like, yeah, fuck the religious element of that. Like, is there a heaven? Do I deserve to go there? And in his interviews, he's like, my heart is pure and I know I've made mistakes and hopefully I go to heaven because I believe what I'm doing. And I don't know if that was the same when he died, but you know what I mean? And just personal insight. Yeah, absolutely. I know my destiny is hell. Where did I fail? Fuck me. Jesus, that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, no, Ray, So Many Tears. Do you have any thoughts on So Many Tears?
Yeah, so all of the stuff that you say about it, like, it is interesting, but these tracks that are, you know, little step outs of the character, I like the character, Tupac, the you know, the can't see me, the hit 'em up character, that character, if we're talking about him playing roles or not, we'll never know. Excuse me. But yeah, that's why I don't know. I think part of what highlights all the things that you're saying about this track is, you know, insight about what he's going into and so honest and all the rest of it, is that it's a step out of the character. But if we're talking about it in terms of the Alien playlist, which I wasn't briefed, by the way, we were, but it's the Aliens would, if you're talking about knowing Tupac, you want to know Tupac, the character, and I don't think it is that, and I don't think it's a great beat, and I think it's again, it's slow, it's slow rap, and it's not. Come on, look at the beat, the selection of beats across all of these albums and the posthumous releases. No, it doesn't even get a look in.
Yeah, we've all got these different criteria, haven't we? Where yours has got no features and they're just one. And there's
better tracks on Me Against the World.
I do love Me Against the World, the song. I think it's on Bad Boys. I think it is in Bad Boys. But yeah, no, okay, valid. I think one other thing before I forget, I was listening to it again today, and I do listen to it quite, like, it's on my playlist. It's right near the top, so you hear it, you know, when you play your playlist. And Jesus, them last words on the song are so loaded now. When he's just like, remember me. And he just says that like with such weight, where he's like, murdered in my streets, now rest in peace as a heaven for a G, remember me. And you're like, fuck man, yeah, hip hop will never forget. Thanks a lot to Kendrick Lamar as well, doing that kind of thing. So yeah, no, so there we go.
You've mentioned Kendrick Lamar and Drake too many times on the Tupac podcast.
Drake probably, yeah. But you
Too
can't,
many.
I think if you're talking about modern hip hop and Pac's shadow over it, that is the artist, isn't it? So, but you've seen the Spotify top 5. You've now got my top 5. Let's have a recap of yours, and I'm going to go to Rob first. What have you got now? So many tears number 1. Yeah. Is it? Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So many tears is number 1. Keep your head up is number 2.
Mm.
All right. So let's see what the rest of them are.
Let's go.
I'll stop. Yeah. I'll start from the bottom.
Mm.
My number 5, Got In My Mind Made Up, which I know violates
Ooh.
a lot of criteria that the two of you have. But
Yeah, never.
when this album dropped and All Eyes on Me dropped, and I first saw the track list, like this was the song that I was most excited to hear. Method Red with the Dog Pound.
Yeah.
It made like this East Coast West Coast thing seem like bullshit, which I liked. I like that the track as a whole is sort of understated. There's this muted quality to it on an album full of like grand ideas and big sounds. It's got this pretty simple beat. And with the exception of Meth, I think all of them are kind of rapping in this cool, calm sort of way. And I don't mind Meth's energy, even though he kind of messes up that energy, but he just comes in with "fuck you, losers." Like,
yeah, he does.
I love it. It immediately changes the energy. But it's just a dope posse cut. I think it's a fun song. Pac's verse is like playful in ways that he's not always playful. I love his line about my lyrics motivate the planet. It's similar to Rhythm Nation, but thugged out. Forgive me, Janet.
Oh, I love that line. Yeah,
of course, because he knows Janet. From Poetic Justice. I also like the way at the end he quotes Run DMC and Rakim because I think this track has an old school feel to it. So the fact that he like acknowledged that I thought was cool. So
love that.
I just like the laid back posse jam.
Respect to Lady of Rage here, because this was supposed to be her song. He took her off. I said, I'm having it. And also, I don't need Inspector Deck, which I think is
right.
We've already talked about where Pac is at this point. And that just
also a strange decision to keep the sample of Deck in the song. I never understood that.
Yeah, that does talk a lot about. Yes, it sounds incredible as an album. There's a lot of things where you were like, they were just rushing. They were just like, get this shit out. Like, you're out of jail. Let's get this shit done. Probably from him, he sounded like he was like on speed, just going for it. Sounds a bit like that. I don't know if you watch Mad Men, but it sounds like when Don Draper does speed and he's just like, oh God, it is like that. As Pac's just like Don Drapering it up. But but you're right. There's who's it? Corrupt is great on there. Redman's great on there. Meth, with a pistol, pow. Oh yeah, I used to love the way they rode the beat and stuff. Yeah, Ray, Got My Mind Made Up. A song I think we rinsed quite a bit when we were together as kids.
Yeah, but it's not top 5.
Any other takes apart from the hurt of Deck?
But yeah, just I think the Deck verse is out now. And
it is. Yeah, it's out there.
I expected it. It is fine, but it's not like blow you away amazing from Deck verse. It's not it's not bomb atomically, so it's
yeah.
But it's just still Deck at the time has Triumph. I'm trying to think. Is
in the 90s. I don't think Triumph was out yet.
No.
Yeah, is it out yet?
No, but he was still opening Wu songs. Do you know what I mean? He was huge, I think, as an MC.
Because Wu-Tang Forever was 97. What is not? So I
think it was.
Yeah. 97. So so it's not. But I don't know. Maybe that informs Deck as well in going into recording Triumph. It's like, yeah, fuck Pac. I'm looking at the best fucking verse of all fucking time.
It's an interesting place to go with it, but I'm kind of here for that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of here for that. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to go to race 5 in a minute. Let's just have a quick look in the chat. Here's Dano. Someone in my communications class did a presentation on scary rap music and played Hit 'Em Up. Mainers were wide-eyed, and I was yell rapping along to every word. Brilliant, Dad. That's a great picture in my head. Dano here. So many tears is everything, he says, and I know you mean that. The key to the door and the door itself. Oh, Dan, fair play. Keep bringing it. Nick Sheffield. If features are allowed, Mind Made Up has to be top 5. Says Nick Sheffield. You and Nick there.
But they're not. So sorry.
Fair enough. Ray, number 5, mate. Let's see. Just recap your list so far that we might have got.
So the ones that are already out there is Can't See Me, which is obviously the number 1. That's the best there is.
So
that's
everyone's number 1.
That's peak Puck. And out of my top 5, none of the others have been. None of my other 5 have been mentioned.
Let's go. What's your number 5?
I did them in order of release because I went album by album. So we'll start at the first one. So which would be Nothing from Tupacalypse Now, Nothing from Strictly. And God. Yeah, no.
That hurts me. It just hurts me. Yeah, but yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So From Me Against the World, If I Die Tonight. That's
God,
just
let's go.
That's like it's a version of like we casually spoke about like, oh, he's not in my top 5. Oh, he's not in my top 5. But like on If I Die Tonight, there's like alliteration like no one else does, and it's all through it. Like pussy and paper is poetry, power and pistols, and he doesn't do it. It's not all through it. It's just now and again, and he'll have like litter the. Is that the word I'm looking for? Litter. It filters through the here we go. Hang on. I'm just trying to find one of the other pockets is packed with presidents pursue you riches. Like he throws there's loads of it all through all the verses where it just kind of steps in with alliteration that kind of emphasizes the point. And calling the coroner, come collect the fucking corpse. Like loads of it. It's just loads of different elements of alliteration throughout the track. That it just shows that there is a version of Puck that is deliberate with his rhyming. That isn't just like what Hit 'Em Up is, which is just kind of throwaway, just unnecessary hate and vitriol kind of thing. Whereas but then also, If I Die Tonight, it's a great version of. There's a lot of Tupac tracks about death and him dying, such as No More Pain, Hearts of Men, Life Goes On, Only God Can Judge Me, So Many Tears, Me Against the World, Lord Knows, Death Around the Corner, Outlaw, Bomb First, Hail Mary, To Live and Die in LA, Blasphemy, Out, Life of an Outlaw, Krazy, White Man's World, Open Fire, Are You Still Down, Hellraiser, Nothing to Lose, I'm Getting Money, Hold On, Be Strong, I Wonder If Heaven Got a Gay, When I Get Free, Only Fear of Death, etc. There's obviously more, but all of those are about like, oh, what if I die? If I die tonight, it's about, it's all this kind of concepts of just death, and he's thinking death's around the corner. It's always there, it's kind of present, and I feel like If I Die Tonight is one of his best versions of that because he puts the extra effort into the alliteration through the verses
and the rhyming.
Boom.
Yeah. And it's Mo B, man. He's like Mo B. Yeah. Oh, easy Mo B. Easy Mo. And listening to it now, I do have that. Like, I love If I Die Tonight. It's right before Krazy. And it probably, as a kid, it was rap Pat can't rhyme. Bang, here, listen to this. He's not a technical rhymer. Bang, listen to this. And it is that calling card for that. But it does sound like a Biggie song, again, a little bit. Like, it is Easy Mo B, but I do think the beat, it has an echo of, kind of life after death. No, Ready to Die, sorry. So it has that kind of, but it's Easy Mo B, so I suppose it would do, wouldn't it? But the Peter Piper, the whole, the way he lands the P's always stuck to me, yeah. Rob, have you got any shouts on If I Die Tonight?
This is my number 6 for sure. Like, I went back and forth about If I Die Tonight and Get My Mind Made Up. So I'm here for all of what you have said.
Okay, I like it. Rob, you're number 4.
Number 4, Only God Can Judge Me Now.
Let's go. Go.
It's honestly really the second verse that does it for me. It's just this vivid, raw depiction of his like anguish and despair. He's describing his experience of being in the hospital after getting shot. He says, "Here, the doctor standing over me, screaming, 'I can make it.' Got a body full of bullet holes, laying here naked." What? That's crazy. You know, we get the like. I'm into the. If you haven't picked up on it already, I'm into the like introspective, vulnerable, contemplative Tupac. And so, I think this is one of the best examples of that.
100%.
How did it come to this? Wish they didn't miss. Somebody help me, tell me where I'm going to go from here. Like that is incredibly sad. That is like, that's powerful stuff. His tendency to present himself on other songs, a lot of the songs on All Eyez on Me in particular, as like the hardest motherfucker on the planet. Just makes it hard to like humanize him. It's songs like this that I feel like make him accessible.
Yeah, absolutely. And it brings that dimension. In his late years, it was death. It was, like I said, 90%. But then you have something like this. I love it. I love this song. It's one of the most, like I can just remember all the bars kind of thing to it. And them hitting really hard as it is in that context. Ray, Only God Can Judge Me. And you can't bring up Mark Morrison. Because I think in England, Mark Morrison co-opted this thing for like a minute in pop culture, but it does stick out. It was a strong minute, if you know what I mean. And he would wear like, "You're not Pac, mate," you know what I mean. And he'd be like, "Only God Can Judge Me" t-shirts and stuff. It's like, this is the guy from Leicester. Come on, mate. But yeah, Ray, Only God Can Judge Me. Thoughts? I guess everyone has their All Eyez on Me tracks they listen to and tracks they skip, and this is the one that I listen to. This is the one I listen through, and Rapping Forte is I like him.
Pretty decent on it as well. Yeah. So, but I like the chorus. I don't know what is it. Is it a vocoder effect? What is
Talkbox,
it?
That's what Dre's on this whole album, in it. Talkbox.
Yeah. That sound on it's very of the era, isn't it? It's very of that time, and I love it.
Yeah. Very G-funk at that time as well, I suppose. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Right, who are we next? Ray, we've done 5. What are you on next?
So the next one in order. So the If I Die Tonight, then it was Can't See Me, number 1, obviously. So next is, and I think this track is a good example of a bit of all versions of Pac. It's, angry. It's a love story. It's shows his caring side. Me and My Girlfriend from the Machiavelli album.
Yeah, it is caring.
Yeah, caring, a little bit caring, but it's got I don't know, but it's got both, and the girl as well. The name escapes me of the girl that she did.
Yeah, we all remember.
Yeah, what? Yeah, just fired off shots. It's just like fucking crazy.
Is his girlfriend a gun? Is his girlfriend a gun? This is a thing I used to think as a kid. Yeah.
So there's talk of him being inspired to do it when he was listening to I Gave You
Power.
Is it I Gave You?
Which would mean he's a hypocrite because he keeps calling Nas, someone.
Exactly.
So he's a massive hypocrite if it's true.
But yeah, I guess we'll never know. But just that whole thing is angry Tupac, it's passion, it's a concept, it's cinematic, it's and I think it's one of the better tracks off the Machiavelli album.
It's Lady of Rage, mate. It's Lady of Rage. I just realised that who does the the chat on it. It is Lady of Rage. So big up. I love Lady of Rage. So I'm glad.
Is it?
Yeah. So even though he's co-opting her tracks, fair play to her. She's still doing that. But yeah, I mean, this is just I love Me and My Girlfriend. I listened to it today. You got the Jay-Z and Beyonce ripoff, which I'm sure a lot more people are aware of, maybe, but it was all this is where they got it from, the whole everything from that, and just fully embracing that Suge Knight dark side he's in now, and just ferocious. Yeah, absolutely. Rob, Me and My Girlfriend, any thoughts on that?
I'll just say, at the time I remember being like, Tupac has a girlfriend? Like And why? And I want to hear about that now. I'm not sure I do.
Fair. He has been talking about Scandalous, All About You, and now it's me and my girlfriend. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
There is something.
Now I'm in a committed relationship.
Yeah, true. Or maybe the only girlfriend I have is my gun. Maybe that's another way to look at it, maybe. But yeah, no, fair enough. I think, yeah, it's incredibly passionate. If I remember listening back to it, I think a lot of 7 Day Theory is passionate, though. But for all its shortcomings, he is really going in. He might have done it in a week, but he fully goes in. And yeah, Jesus. Also, if Jay understands how important Pac is, despite all the shit they get. So yeah, no, fair play. Rob, you've only got one left for you, though, haven't we, mate? What is it, number 3?
Yeah, only one left. Number 3 is Violent from Tupacalypse Now.
Oh, this was the juicy morsel.
This is
why violent? Why violent?
So many reasons. You know, people like to talk about foreshadowing in Tupac's music. You know, he's rapping about dying and being murdered. But this song, I think, has its own sort of foreshadowing. The underlying message is that people claim that he's violent simply because he's Black, or he's talking about reform and oppression, justice. And I wish I had found the lyric because I wanted to quote it, but I forgot to do it.
Oh no.
He says something like, if this is violent, then violence what I'm gonna be. And I just felt like he was declaring, like, if all you're gonna hear or see is that I'm violent and that's all you're gonna expect from me, then that's what I'm gonna show you. And his persona after, you know, from this point on sort of moves more and more in that direction. He goes, as we've been talking about all day tonight, going from sort of activist to thug life. I just think there's traces of that in this song. But I also think that the song is just illustrating the violence, of course, put upon him and his community, police brutality, oppression, the real violence, and him, like, you know, explaining in a very clear way, any violence on my part is a reaction to that violence. And then there's, of course, the real true story of his own aunt, who's accused of killing a police officer in a not so different situation than Pac is like illustrating in this song. The layers here are just brilliant to me. And the cherry on top is that he uses the word peckerwood in this song, and I don't think I've ever heard that in any other rap song.
I don't think I have either. I don't think I have. That is, yeah, what a cherry to put on top there. You know what? I'm going to go back and reassess that song, because I go to Trapped, I go to Something Wicked, stuff like that. I Don't Give a Fuck. Those are the songs I go to Tupacalypse Now. I'm definitely going to listen back to Violent now, because I don't think I've really peeled it back as far as you have. That's fascinating. The person he would become, the seeds are here on his debut album. So, yeah, brilliant. I'm kind of still processing that. Ray, any thoughts on Violent?
I don't remember it specifically, but just most of Tupacalypse Now, he's rapping in it's like an 80s style of rap. It's like a it's
91, right? This album, 91, 92.
Yeah, it's early. It's kind of
so it's going to be in it.
I guess it's kind of like more
bomb squaddy.
Basic's not the right word, but it's like it's part of him, like what you're saying about the track in terms of his journey. You know, it's like foreshadowing what he's going to become. Also, lyrically, his style as well becomes, you know, harder and stronger and more passionate. So, and I just prefer later.
Yeah, he's definitely. I think he saw himself as more like a KRS-One or like Public Enemy type rapper on this album.
Yes,
and so I think his style sort of mimics that in some way.
100%, absolutely. So we've got Rob's 5 locked. That's a very strong 5, Rob, and I love your number 1. You know that. So that's pretty mad. That doesn't usually happen. Ray, how many we got left? We got 3 for you. No, 2.
2.
Yeah, come on then.
2 left.
What we got?
So they're in order. So now we're in the territory of posthumous releases.
Interesting.
And this one falls under the bracket of like just genuinely one of my favorites. It was on repeat when it came out. It's just, Are You Still Down? Are You Still Down? Are You Still Down? And just, that it's, and the thing with it is it's like he's speaking to you from beyond the grave. The lyrics, there's a line in there like, I wonder if they'll still listen to me when I'm gone. And are you still down? It's like he's speaking from are you still down? Raise them up. Are you still down?
Yeah.
Raise them up. There's something about it is that, and I'm sure there are other references through his massive, body of work where, if you listen to it under this context, it's like, wow, I think he saw that coming. And now this is, but it just, Are You Still Down was particularly like a wicked track, but also like he's dead, but then this tune comes out and it's like he's speaking to you from the grave. And when it came out, obviously there was all the theories of like, is he dead? Is he really? Is he just on an island somewhere?
He's on an island with Elvis.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Fueling that myth of where is he alive? Didn't even Chuck D come out and say, yeah, I believe he's alive in Cuba? I'm sure. There was an interview. Like,
there was a thing, wasn't there? Yeah.
Right, I'm not wrong, am I? I was like, Chuck D, one of the most intelligent rappers. Things like, but then as an 18-year-old, maybe he is. Oh my God, maybe he could come back.
Yeah.
I mean, we're 43 now.
But he's also, established enough in the industry to know that it's valuable to just, add to the mythos. True. Isn't it? Just kind of like,
true.
So.
True. Yeah. Because then when you listen to Mortal, man, you see that it's not just us that are doing this, younger people. It must be really weird not living through Pac and coming after and getting to 50 Cent probably first or whatever and going, 50 Cent got shot up. My God, that's amazing. And but you think 50 Cent is like box office real. Pac is the uber hyper real. He's hyper realistic. It's almost AI. How would you make something like this so ridiculously real? Just find it quite fascinating to see where people like that are from. Well, so where's your next one then, Ray? Your last one then?
The next one is from so part of doing this, listening to the Pac's albums to prepare for the podcast was like, well, this is an opportunity to explore the later posthumous releases, which I think all of us would have been like, I ain't listened to that. Who put that out? Who's in control of this? What am I going to listen to? What a Feni Shakur's respect to her, but what her musical choices? Like, nah, I'm not interested. But there's a later album called Better Days, and the title track is Better Days, and it's a fucking incredible track. It's ridiculous. And like I said, when you listen to it, it's evident that, Pac wrote that to the beat. It's one of those, and it's just, and again, I think you both like it because it's not gangster Tupac. It's, optimist Tupac. And maybe it was recorded in a earlier time, Better Days, but it was it's a really it's an upbeat, happy tune, and it's I don't understand why it wasn't obviously it was recorded earlier on. I don't know why it wasn't included on earlier albums, but basically the first half of and again, it's kind of a concert tune in a way. The first half of the track is about hoping for better days, and the second half is about remembering better days.
That's a good concept.
It's a really cool concept in the way that, and it's got talking about, the struggles with a girlfriend and being broke and like hoping for better days. And then the next one is about, it's hard to tell if it's being in jail or knowing someone that's in jail, but both of you remembering better days when you weren't in jail. And it's just, it's like it's happy and upbeat, but it's also got despair in there as well. Like one of the Thug Life tunes that you were talking about earlier. It's, it's a beautiful track, and it's one that, like, having heard it newly now, it's one that I think I will be listening to. It'll be in my regular playlist.
Do you know what? If at the beginning of this thing, if I had to guess Ray's top 5, but to be fair, if I knew the criteria, I wouldn't have picked these. And I'm kind of fascinated. Do I know my mate? I don't know. Do I? I don't know. Do I know you? But no, that's amazing. No, I am going to go listen to Violent, Better. This is how deep his catalogue is, and what a mess his family like estate must be now, because all these songs are out there, and you'll say it's on the albums, fair enough, but there's loads of these. I mean, never going to see, or maybe we will. I don't know, but yeah, no, that's amazing. So right, 5s. We've got our top 5s. incredibly different, incredibly varied in this vast amount of work. That's probably going to be inevitable, I suppose. But I really appreciate you guys bringing yours and bringing your arguments for, like, you know, all these aliens needing a song. We need to talk about aliens needing a song from Pac to learn about hip hop. Is there any that come to mind? I mean, I think, okay, it's not my favorite, but I think one of the strongest arguments might be Dear Mama. Could be Hit 'Em Up. Could be Hit 'Em Up.
Why would it be?
Because there isn't anything else like it. Because there isn't anything else like it.
Exactly. So therefore it can't be.
No.
If it's the exception to the rule, it can't be the rule.
No.
It's got to be the best example of the rule.
But no, if you're talking about hip hop, what it can do, where it can go, and what it's spawned.
Why would we talk about that?
Because
why are we talking about that when
no one else has
Can't See
done it?
Me?
He's the one that's took. Yeah, but see, You Can't See Me. I would say there are other songs that do what You Can't See Me can do, and not a lot of the songs that can do.
Well, with Dre's production, with one of the greatest producers of all time on it.
A lot of that is Dayz. Let's be honest. A lot of that is Dayz. Fair play to Dayz. But no,
no. Can't See Me is Dre.
No, but Dayz and Quick were just giving gems at that point. Dayz and Gems were just giving him everything.
I don't want to talk about, I know some secret stuff. Listed on the thing is Dre's production.
That's fine. That's all good. But what I'm saying
and other tracks are listed as Dayz.
Is as other alien arguments, because these go out to the patrons later. We do put it on Twitter and all this stuff. Rob, do you have any other shouts for which song should be played to Alien and why? And Ray, is yours Can't See Me then?
Of course, yeah, obviously.
Okay, right. Can't See Me is Ray's. I had to think about mine. But yeah.
I think I'm coming at this from a slightly different perspective. I'm imagining aliens invading Earth and us needing to give them a song. And I would want to play I Ain't Mad at You.
Yeah. You're looking at it as a conflict thing, them coming down. Yeah.
We come in peace, or we're here in peace.
Yes.
Perfect answer.
Yeah, okay. I ain't mad at you. I like that. Okay. Because if I was going to say even So Many Tears, they'd be like, oh God, you lot are really depressing, aren't you? So yeah, but look, this is what hip hop also is though. But yeah, this is probably one of the hardest ones for the alien thing, because Hit 'Em Up, if you want beef tracks, is there a better 90s beef track? Like pure hatred? I don't know. But is that something that aliens need to know? Maybe, maybe not.
There's also a lot of historical context in that song. You know, you can learn a lot about that era of hip hop.
Yeah, no, true. I like that. Good point. Yeah, definitely. I'm going to go back into the chat quickly, but I have got my other songs. I'm going to list them just for patrons at the end, by 37. You don't have to stay for this, lads. I can just do that. You don't have to stay for all that. But I am going to...
No one wants to hear that.
That's fine. I'll just do it for myself, just so posterity. Let's have a look at these. Here we go. There's been a lot of chat here. Ninja's Rose, he's got his 5 here.
His 5 is out now.
Hail Mary number 2. No one had Hail Mary. I know a lot of people who love that song, like really love that song, and I do. But you know, Me Against the World, number 3. I Ain't Mad at You, number 4, and So Many Tears, number 5. So Many Tears. If we're talking about like just real estate, I think more people have got that in their 5 than not. Love Me My Girlfriend. It's top 5, says Nick Sheffield. And number 1. They Don't Give a Fuck About Us. Oh, right. That's different. That's a different one. Okay. Yeah. So there you go. That is, again, everyone's got different 5s here. And I kind of love this for it. Lads, it's been amazing. Thank you for bringing all your passion, all your insight. I'm going to reel off 37 song titles now. So if you want to stay, this is the rankings I've curated.
Why?
Because just for myself, mate. Right.
Because it's fun.
Because it's fun. Yeah, it's fun. And if anything, I've eaten a lot of shit. I just want to eat more. I think that's essentially what I do. And remember, these are not posthumous. So Do For Love's not in here. All these other things aren't in here. Although that is such a good song. But yeah. So
can I just say one thing about posthumous releases?
Yes.
I was with you, Cam. I did not listen to them. Didn't consider them for this. But you mentioned Are You Still Down? I had a conversation with Meticulous about Are You Still Down? He was really encouraging me to listen to it because apparently a lot of those songs were recorded in like 93, 92, 93. So
what Ray was talking about then?
Yeah. So I'm going to go back and listen.
So let me just have a quick...
It's good. There's the Fake Ass Bitches was close to the list, and there's another tune called When I Get Free 2, because there's When I Get Free 1 on there as well. I don't know why.
So Do For Love is on there? And Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Do For Love, Wonder If Heaven's Got a Ghetto. One of the hits on that one, yeah.
So these were made Hold on, be strong. Hold on, be strong. Oh, right.
I don't know if all of them were made
But some
in
of them
'93, but I think a chunk of them were.
16.
Yeah,
on Death Row.
and '94. There's a couple of tracks where he drops the date. He says, "Oh, it's going to be harder and harder for someone in '94." You know, so he says stuff like that.
Interesting. Here's one then. Do you know what's that one where he says "R.I.P. to my N Biggie Smalls"? What's that song now? There's a posthumous track where he says that, where it always confused me. Where I was like, "Hey, what? He can't have another friend called Biggie Smalls." And it was way too early for AI to have but maybe, but no, it sounded so odd. I can't remember which song this is. I'm sure someone, probably on the live stream, someone will know what that is. But yeah, Jesus Christ, that's fucking mad. Okay, here's 37, so everyone can go home and sleep and think of Tupac. 37, Something Wicked, Last Words, White Man's World, I Don't Give a Fuck, Trapped. 31, Temptations. I love Temptations when it come out. The video, oh yeah. Two of America's Most Wanted at 30, To Live and Die in LA at 29. Oh, I have got a posthumous release in here, but I'm going to say it anyway, but Staring at the World Through My Rear View. Staring at the World Through My Rear View. Fuck me. The original version of that is just incredible. So people go check that. Straight Ballin' at 27. Thug Life, Big Time Volume 1. When We Ride at 26. Even though the amount of features on that song do really weigh it down, his verses are so fucking good. And When We Ride is so good. So that gets a pass for me on there. Number 25, I Ain't Mad at You. 24.
When We Ride is could arguably be number one on All Eyes on Me.
When We Ride?
I excluded it because of the criteria, but it's the beat is unbelievable. That sounded incredible. When I had a bass box in my shit old car when I first started driving, that beat it was exactly the right. And maybe it was because I could only afford a bass box that could, I don't know, cover the certain bass range. I don't know what it was, but that was just it rumbled all the windows of all the houses down the street when it was just yeah.
Love that.
I'm all right with this top 37. Let's go.
No, but When We Ride, you're right. When We Ride, it's just one of them. And I remember driving. I think it is that, isn't it? In your car for the first time, and that'd be one of the standouts. Where it's like, oh, that sounds so good. So where are we then? Okay, When We Ride, number 25, I Ain't Mad at You. Shout out to Bekeem Woodwine in the video, if I'm being correct there. I think Bekeem Woodwine is in that video. And just the video itself, and it's become quite like a trademark pack thing that people do go back to. Number 24, Young Ends. I don't know if anyone likes Young Ends off of Me Against the World, but I loved that song, and I still do love that song. It's such good production. Number 22, I Get Around. As a kid, this was one of my funnest tracks, and it does feel like someone, maybe it is Shock G, it's just gone, have a bit of fun, mate. Just have a bit of fun now. Like, you've done Holler If You Hear Me, you don't keep your head up. Let's have, I Get Around. And I think it was the first pack song that ever came on the Alien playlist, actually, funny enough, that we had to begin with. So yeah,
again, foreshadowing for his charges and going to jail.
Again, no, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Number 21, Me Against the World, because it does remind me of Bad Boys, and I loved watching Bad Boys at that time. I rinsed that film, and it was just in there as well. And just obviously the line of it's me against all you motherfuckers. Love it. Number 20, Hail Mary. Number 19, Picture Me Rolling. Oh, Picture Me Rolling, Jesus Christ. Number 18, Against All Odds. Not a lot of people love this song because it is kind of like Hit 'Em Up Part 2, but I remember it being one of my favorites as a kid. So All Against All Odds is ridiculous. Number 17, Brenda's Got a Baby. Number 16, Only God Can Judge Me. Rob, thank you for bringing that. We can talk a bit about that. Number 15, How Long Will They Mourn Me? That hit hard as a kid. That really hit hard. Number 14, If I Die Tonight. That should be top 10, really, now I think about it. And then, Krazy, Ambitionz, Ridah, Blasphemy, that we have already done. And it goes from there. So people, there we go. Top 5 2-pack. Crate808@gmail.com if you really want to have a go in a long-worded email. Please do. There you go. You can email us there. Thank you for all the patrons who have jumped in. Let's just quickly check on them before we go. Ninjas Rose. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Cam, you're the only person I know of that geeks out at hip-hop as much as I do. Cracks me up. Thank you for that. I think Are You Still Down is a great track, says Nick Sheffield. Boom. And Ninjas Rose, can you imagine digging into Nas, Doom, Ghostface, Carr, Billy Woods, Black Thought, The Roots, Kendrick? Just some names to do top 5s. Keep you busy till 2028. He's right, and they are all on the menu. They are all on the menu because we need these songs to be on the Alien playlist, a lot of them in the 90s. But yeah, the Billy Woods top 5. Woof, God, we'll get Ray in for that because he loves Billy Woods.
Yeah, brilliant.
And
Billy
Car,
Woods and
and
Car.
Car.
Oh, God. Yeah, can't wait for those.
Yeah, you really don't. But no, I would love to do some of those. Ghostface. We've done Ghostface top 5. We did a top 36 for the Patreon. 36, and that was a 3-4 hour session. But Rob, thank you for your stamina, mate. Where can we find you? What we got coming? What's the show got? If people haven't checked it, Next Movement Podcast, go out there, check it. What's going on?
Yeah, easiest place to find us is Instagram and Twitter. On Instagram, we're at The Next Movement Pod. On Twitter, it's at Next Movement Pod. We just released an episode with Open Mike Eagle as our guest. And for those who don't know, the format of our show is we have a guest. The first half of that episode is just an interview. We talk about the artists, their work. Second half, we ask them to pick an album that has been influential or is a favorite of theirs. So Open Mike Eagle selected The Coming by Busta Rhymes. So we talk about that a little bit.
Amazing.
And we got a couple things in the works that I'm not going to talk about just yet, but check out that Open Mike Eagle episode. We had a great time with that.
Yeah. I was saying to you off camera where I was like, Open Mike Eagle talking about Busta Rhymes is The Coming. There's just actually are links there in my mind already forming that I never would have formed unless you hadn't said it in your pod. So yeah, big up. I love that. People go check that out. Raymond, thank you for jumping on. Have a good rest of your day, my friend. And the patrons, thank you so much for all your love, man, basically. And we should, last thing we've got to say, the last great piece of music you heard. Could be old, could be new, just the last great piece you heard. I'm going to go to Ray on that.
Porsche Lights and Cat Eyes. Have you heard it?
No.
It's new tracks from Porsche Lights, Styles P. It's a ridiculous track. And Cat Eyes, Boldy James. He's converted me.
Hey,
It's one.
Boldy James.
Yeah, but if you listen to Cat Eyes, it's like the tune really lends itself to Boldy James's style, kind of slow, and just fucking check it out anyway.
See, this is what you say about Boldy, right? I was listening to Indiana Jones, he dropped not long ago, and Tell It All, and Electric Blue, and Dopey, all these. I was like, this guy's got real range. He's like really trying to go with so many different collaborations that, just don't sleep on it. So yeah, I'm glad that you brought that. I will check out the Styles P. I do love Styles P, so I'll check that out. Rob, for you, last great piece of music, my friend?
Outside of Tupac, which I've listened to almost exclusively for the last 3 or 4 days.
Same, yeah.
I would say Nappy Nina's new album called Morning Dew. Really great. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to giving it another spin.
Nice. I love that. Big up Nappy Nina. Yeah, wicked. Yeah, it's about 2 years before her last album came out, right?
Yeah, it's been a couple of years.
Yeah, so looking forward to checking that. That's brilliant. Fair play. For me, my last piece, I listened to it this morning, Weary Love by Mike on his latest album, Beware of the Monkey. I fucking love that album. And it came so late in 2022. I didn't get to include it in my end of year, but I've rinsed that. And I love that album so much. I might just do a review of it. It's just generally people want it. But Weary Love. But yeah, that album is stupendous. And Mike has smashed it. I thought Disco might be his best work, but this might be now. So yeah, there you go. People, let's just quickly see. Yes, Ray, Styles P, Death Before Dishonor, also on repeat, says Ninjas Rose. And then, boom. Jack P, Dongo by Bobby Noble has been on repeat for me. Not heard that, but I will check that out. Big up. Right. Peace. Go listen to some
there's a shout for Jest and Flip Tricks new albums as well.
Yes, Jest and Flip Tricks. Yes, Jest came out with a Mork and Mindy concept album. Come on. I don't know if you've heard Jest over there, Rob. You heard of Jest?
I'm not familiar, no.
UKMC legend, pretty much legend.
Legend, ridiculous.
Ray, you've warmed up at the same gigs he was on, and I remember thinking, I remember seeing Jest a few times there. And spoiler alert, we are trying to get him on the pod at some point. So, but do go check him out. This Is England is one of my favorite songs he's ever done, and his albums. Yeah, he's got
High Plains Drifter. That's
High Plains Drifter. Yeah, he's got a lot of good music out there, Rob. So if you watch some UK hip hop, There you go. Check it out. And before I go, keep dropping them. Ninjas Rose, everyone check out 4 Elements and Beyond. Clock the Chemistry, my album of the year so far. That's a strong take, and I will be checking it out now then. So yes, big yourselves up. Peace. Go listen to some Pack. And yeah, go. Oh, by the way, bit of housework. Please rate and review, by the way. Spotify, they really do make a difference. Rate and review. YouTube, drop some comments, whatever. And also do it for the next podcast as well. Next Movement podcast as well. So yes, thank you guys. Take it easy. And we shall catch you soon. Peace.
Peace. See you later.